We're live.
Hi guys, it's good evening from Nigeria, Ado-Ekiti, and I'm very much excited to be right here today. Today we are going to be celebrating actually the largest developers festival in in the country. Actually, yeah. So yeah, I'm going to be doing this together with Susan. Susan, hi, say hi to the audience. So yeah, Susan has been a very great individual from the onset of DevFest, and we'll be doing this together. And everyone is a part of DevFest right now. So yeah, very quickly, we are going to be jumping right into the keynote session. You can see to my left, there is an amazing gentleman right there, and he's actually the organizer for DevFest at Ado-Ekiti, and I'm sure as you guys are also excited as much as I am, I'm going to be giving him this opportunity now to jump in right into the keynote session. And I want you all to stay excited as I give David this chance to drop in the keynotes for DevFest Ado-Ekiti 2020. So, right, if you're very much excited, you can actually drop in the message in the chat box. Let us know how you feel about it, and right, we'll be kick starting right away. So yeah, as David is putting things together to get started, I want you to keep tweeting about DevFest, keep talking about it. Tell people that yes, we are live on DevFest at Ado-Ekiti 2020, and we are really much excited to be here. And tell people about it. Let them jump on the call, and let them also get the same energy that you are getting, the same engagements you are having right here. Invite them. We're going to be having a plenary of speakers that are going to be doing amazing work. We have some people come from that are Google developers experts. We have people that are vast in various disciplines, from the cloud technologies to the mobile technologies and the web technologies. We have people, amazing individuals that are going to be joining us in this call today. And I want to also inform you that we have someone else from GDD Akoko, the lead from Akoko. He's going to be doing so great work today. We have a lineup of audience. We have Kafri Eyang. I promise me if I didn't pronounce it well. We're going to be having her on this show. We are it's actually a show, a festival of developers that is happening virtually. We understand, right? It's actually happening virtually because of the current state of the nation, right? There are actually no regulations for hosting physical events. That's why DevFest is happening virtually. We're also going to be having Damilola Oyeyemi. She's actually very amazing. So I want you guys to just prepare yourself and sit tight. We're going to be enjoying this ride together. Susan, do you have anything to tell the audience while we expect David to drop in the keynote?
Okay, hello everybody. I'm very excited to about this whole breakfast despite the culture event. I know you are as excited as I am, so let's keep up and let's keep
exactly. Yeah, keep the hashtag trending. The hashtag, we're going to drop the hashtag in the chat session. Keep the hashtag trending. DevFest Ado 2020. DevFest Ado-Ekiti. Sorry, DevFest Ado-Ekiti 2020. Also put in the hashtag DevFest. You can tag your friends. You can tag. Also don't forget to tag GDD Ado-Ekiti to the tweets. Let's actually help feel the same energy you are feeling about it on the social media platforms. Keep trending it, keep tweeting about it. Tell them you are live. JD Ado-Ekiti DevFest is live. Join in. Drop the link, or you can actually retweet with a comment. Tell them that JD Ado-Ekiti is live, and let them join in the call. And also, there will be actually lots of palliatives to give out today. We have a warehouse full of palliatives to be looted, so you should just get your seat belts ready, and we're going to be going straight. I don't know if David is ready to jump in right now, but if it's not, if while we're waiting for David to jump in, there was a task that was given on our Twitter page, and you can actually still go in and jump on that engagement. Let us know your expectations. You can drop it in the comment section. Let us know your engagement. Let us know where you are joining from. If you are joining from DSC XU, DSC 4, DXC Footer, let us know in the comment section. Let us know. You can also get to interact with other audience on the comment section. Introduce yourself. Hi, I am Favor, joining from Ado-Ekiti, Nigeria. or you tell me, hi, I am. You are joining from Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. You are joining from Ghana. You are joining from Kenya, South Africa. Let us know in the comment section below. So yeah, we have here. I've seen amazing comments right there. I've seen Paleti's way wash hands. Yeah, so yeah, we have. I told you, and we always learn to keep to our words. We have a warehouse full of palliatives. Now we are going to be giving out palliatives in quotes, right, to people that actually get to engage with comments, to engage with discussions. So when you find a speaker on the session talking about something that gets to intrigue you, you just go to Twitter and tweet about it. Oh, this is what really just caught my attention. Now we had them Slick talking about this one, so you just tweet about it, or something new that's coming into the web technology, or something new that's coming to the mobile technology. Just tweet about it, and I'm going to be watching the trends, and I'm going to make my selection and be giving it out to individual to the participants. Yeah, we also have on standby. We have Karen Balka. He's going to be joining the session too. So I told you we have amazing sets of speakers are going to be jumping on this call today. So yeah, Susan, any thoughts? Any thoughts for that? First, why David gets ready to jump in? Let us hear from you.
Okay, everybody. Basically, before we get on stage, I would like to announce that any lady, like two ladies that would trend most, we have access to free academic course. We also will be giving out 3,000 naira data to people in the
Wow.
highest grade. So don't sleep on it.
Yeah, and also yeah, FSI. We had there was a hackathon that was organized last year in Nigeria. FSI, they will be giving out also tech palliatives too, in terms of MacBook, in terms of a LED and an LG curved monitor. Also yeah, and also a HiNet data plan for people that get selected. So yeah, they jump on the tweet. It's actually on our Twitter page. There's a MacBook that's going to be going down. FSI Hackathon was organized last year, and almost all DGD chapters in Nigeria actually participated in it. Even we actually had representatives from the Google Developers Group, Ado-Ekiti, represent also in that hackathon. So yeah, I'm seeing amazing comments here. I'm seeing Michael from Osun State. I'm seeing Moses here. I am seeing Afolabi Adeshola. I'm seeing Jay Swill. Yeah, you guys are doing amazingly well. Tell others, let them join in the call. So we're going to be getting started by 4:15. Tell others to jump on the call immediately. I'm seeing Favor Adeshino. I'm seeing Bakari Ola. Hi, Bakari. I am seeing Cyber Prince. Amazing. I'm seeing Abiodun Popola. I'm seeing Olorunfemi Ajibolu. You are really amazing. I'm seeing Samson Adesonoye. Yeah, I'm seeing Olumide Fakorede. Yeah, amazing. I'm also seeing Babalola Gogo. Yeah, I hope I pronounced that well. Yeah, you guys are really amazing. Talk to people, let them jump on the call so we can get started immediately. Yeah, I'm seeing Victoria Olawi. Yeah, Victoria. Victoria is joining from DSC XU. Yeah, good to have you guys here. I'm also seeing Afolabi Adeshola. Yeah, joining from DSX. Wow, I really love this the sort of representation I'm getting here. We have people from the Google Developers Group at Ado-Ekiti. We have people from DSC We have people from DSC Futa, and we have people from DSC 4. Yeah, that's the Federal University of Oye-Ekiti. I think the developer students club was just set up sometime, and those guys are really doing amazing well. Guys from DSC 4, yeah, DSC XU and DSC Footer, those guys are really doing amazingly well. And there's actually going to be lots of good news today. Yeah, we have David back in. So yeah, welcome, David. So we're going to be jumping right into the keynote session, and it's going to be handled by our number one lead of this great community. His name is David Oluwabusayo. So if you're very excited, just jump on the chat and tell us how excited you are to have David to give the keynote. So immediately, David, the floor is going to be yours in the next 3, 2, 1. Are you ready? Your camera is turned off. Let's know. We'll be having David jump in to give the keynote. So once his video is ready, we're going to be jumping into that right away. So I'm very much excited. I've been anticipating this event even before the global pandemic hit us. I've been anticipating this event. I know how DevFest 2019 went, which was an in-person event. It was the largest. I'm sure it was the largest in Nigeria. Yeah, I'm sure it was the largest in Nigeria. So the kind of collaboration that I had that day actually gave a keynote. I actually spoke that day, and I actually saw developers coming together. And the interesting thing is, when developers come together, amazing things happen when developers come together. And so we're going to be doing this virtually, and we know that amazing things can also happen right on this virtual call. Yeah, amazing things. We're going to be learning today from people that are Google developers experts, people that are experts in the web, mobile, and cloud technologies. And there's also going to be palliatives, yeah, tech palliatives. So, David, can we get started immediately? It's 4:15 already. Um, David, are you ready? Can you jump in right away? Okay, it looks like, yeah, this is one of the things that happened. It looks like David has a bit of network glitch, but um, let's see if we can actually give some minutes, and then I don't know. Can we? I think we can actually have the keynote come some other time. I would have loved it to happen right away. I would have loved it to have it happen right away. But while that is being fixed, let's see if we can jump in straight to Damilola Oyeyemi. I don't know. I'm sure Damilola will be very tense right now. She was supposed to come in the second session. So, Susan, over to you. Let's have Damilola while they fix up this video from Zen. Hi, Susan. Okay, Damilola, I'll be adding you straight to the stream right now. Damilola is going to be talking about um, a very interesting topic, and you're currently muted. So I'm going to be giving you the floor right away. So, Damilola, over.
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to this section of content creation. And I'm so glad to have you guys around. I am Damilola Oyemi, team lead for Emerald Matters. And I'll be talking on content creation and importance for every developer. As a developer, content creation is very important to you. And I will be talking on what to do and how to go about it. So let's start with meaning of content creation. What is content creation? Content creation consists of two words, which are content and creation. What is creation? Creation is a process of bringing something into reality. And let's talk about content. This is something that can be expressed, viewed, or practiced through mediums such as speeches, writing, or any art of self-expression, marketing, and publication. I've actually defined content, I've defined creation. Then let's talk about content creation. Let's join it together and have a wonderful meaning. Content creation is a process of penning down one's thoughts and information through medium for others to consume. It can be traditional, that is newspaper, or digital. You can make it traditional where you write on newspaper and you publish it, or digital where you do something we are doing right now. What are the types of content? There are two types of content which are created and content, which are created and curated content. What is curated content? Created content, these are content that can be published or produced by another person. That is, it is not your content, but you created it to suit you. Let me wait for the slide. Yeah. Slide, please. Let's talk about created content. Created contents are your original content. These are created by you. Like you actually created it and you are publishing it yourself. It's not for someone else, but you worked on it and you are bringing it out. Let's move to medium of content creation. Medium of content creation. Now we have writing, which you can do through poetry, art. We have video, which you can do through movies, animation, vlogging, like the one we are doing now. We have audio, which can be done through podcasts, voice notes. Then we have images, which can be done through pictures, graphic design, and GIF. Then we have speaking, like this one I'm doing right now. We have speaking, which can be talk show, public speaking, seminar. We have digital, which can be blogging. Then let's talk about who is a content creator. We're talking about content creation, then who is a content creator. A content creator is a person who creates content for others to consume through different mediums listed above. We listed the process, we've listed the mediums rather, we've listed the mediums where you can share your content. And a content creator is a person who creates content for others to consume through different mediums. Then what are the process of content creation? Let's start. We have editing. Yeah, this is when you generate an ideas of what you want to create. Yeah, this is actually what I want to create. Then you sit down and you generate the idea. That's editing. Then we have planning. Yeah, this is a process of planning what to create in a better manner. You've actually had the idea, then you sit down on what to plan and what you sit down planning and on what to create. Yeah, okay, I have the idea. This is how I want to go about this. Then you sit down with your pen and your book and start planning on what to create. Then we have creating. Creating is the process when you start creating your content. You have the idea, you planned it, then the next process is to create. Okay, this I want to do it through video. Yeah, then you sit down, you start to create your videos. It's through blogging, then you sit down, you try to create your content. It's through talk, then you sit down and start to, okay, this is how it will go, this is how I want it, this is how it will move. Then we have editing. Editing is when you sit down, take the errors and make your idea meaningful. You edit your errors, you take it away, you bring the meaningful content for your final consumer, for the last person to be able to read it. Then we have publishing. Publishing is the final stage when you have the idea, you plan it, you create it, you edit. The next thing is to publish. Then this is a process of bringing it to the final consumer to see. Okay, let's use let's use blogging for instance. You actually had the idea of what to write on, you've planned how to go about it, you've created the content, you've edited, then you publish it for others to see. Tips on how to create content. What are the tips on how to create content? How do you create your content? 1, map out your content creation plan. This is how you would want it to go. This is how you want it to look like. This is how you want your audience to see it. This is how you want your audience to perceive it. Then you map out your content creation plan. Sorry. Know your niche and establish authority. How do you want what's your niche? Is it, okay, for instance, if you are into blogging, you want to blog on relationship, you want to blog on health, you want to blog on marriage, you want to blog on anything, then you know your niche, your better niche that suits you, and you establish authority. You read to know more about it. You read to enlarge and expand your horizon on it. Be accurate. What do you want your audience to know? How do you pass it across to them? Be concise and brief. People don't like to read what is long. Yeah, we get bored when we read what is long. So you have to be concise and brief about it. Next slide, please. How to become a content creator. How do you become a content creator? Number 1, research about what you want to write regularly. Okay, it's not that you just come out and you sit down, you start creating what you want. You experience writer block to get to a time that you won't know what to write again. But when you research, you actually gathered enough knowledge on what to write that would easy. Then you write regularly, create content regularly. If you're into writing, create it regularly. If you're into graphic design, create it regularly. If you're into vlogging, create it regularly. Do it every day. Study your audience. What do they want? What do they like? Study it very well. Establish your own voice. That's so important too. How do you want people to perceive you? How do you want them to see you? It's more of be an authority in what you do. Then create other people's content. Nobody is an island of knowledge. What do you want to talk about? You see people that have actually done that before. So it's best for you to create, you create it in a way that will suit them. You create it in a way that it will show that you actually created it, but people will not get to be a plagiarism, you understand? Then understand your key performance indicator. That's so important too. Next slide, please. Network at every opportunity. When you go out, there are people that are doing what you are doing. Yeah. There are people that have actually done what you are doing, and there are people that will do what you are doing. There are people that know better than you. So it's necessary you network at every opportunity you see. Necessary you network at every opportunity you get. That's so important. There's a saying that your network is your net worth. So the more you network with people, the more you get content, the more you become an expertise in what you do, the more you become a pro in what you do. Offer solution. Yeah, that's so important too. Offer solution to people's problem. That's when they would see you as an authority in what you do. What do people want? Okay, during NSAS, someone created an app for blood donation. People really needed that at that time. During rape, someone created an app for people who are victims of rape to seek for help. That's so important. You are offering a solution to someone's problem. Know your target on audience and their demand. What do they want? You have a specific audience you want to offer solution to. What do they want? What are their demands? Then you define your content. That's so important too. How do I want to create this? What do I want to create? How do I want to go about it? Value your content too. Don't just give content out to people. Most times you just have to charge little. Value it so much. It's your brain. You are using your brain. You are using your time. So charge. It might be little and it might be much. Just get something in returns of what you are doing. Use your search engine optimization and keyword. That's so important too. If you want people to, get what you do, if you want to create traffic rather, if you want to generate traffic, so search engine optimization is very, very important. Next slide, please. Tools needed for content creation. What are the tools you need for your content creation? Number one, you need your pen. That's where when you have an idea, use a pen to write it down. Don't just sit on your laptop and start writing. You need a notebook, a pen and a notebook. Okay, this is what I'm doing. I have an idea. Then you start to plan it there before you create. You need your laptop too. As a developer, you need your laptop. If you don't have a laptop, you need your phone. You need your camera. As a vlogger, you need the camera for your video to be awesome. You need Grammarly. This Grammarly is an app that actually corrects your errors. It corrects your errors, your mistakes, your grammatical errors. It brings it out and it makes your content awesome. Then you need Otter. Otter is an app that converts video to words. Yeah, this is an awesome app. When you have your video, just send it to Otter. Otter will convert it to words. So next slide, please. How to merge content creation with business to generate profit. This is so important. Money is so important. Anything you're doing that is not bringing money, you get tired. Yeah. There will be a day you get tired and you'll be like, I'm not doing it again. But when you're doing something and it's generating money, it's bringing money to you, you'll be so glad to do it. Number one is find your customer personnel. This is important. Find out the things that keep your customer from sleeping at night. That's the pain point. What are the things they want? What do they want? What's the pain point? Okay, how would I do it? There is a pain point for every customer. You find it out for you to get their money. I've said it earlier. For you to get money, you have to create value, and there's no way you create value without solving a problem. When you offer solution, you get to generate money. And how can you generate your money? It's until you understand your customer pay points. You create content on their pay points. Is it video you want to create? Create it on that point. Is it graphics you want to create? Create it on that point. Is it graphics you want to create? Create it on that point. Next slide. Find the most appropriate content creation distribution channel and medium. What are the appropriate content creation channel you think can suit your customer to get their money? Is it through videos? Is it through graphics? Is it through vlogging? Is it through talk show? Is it through seminars? Is it through podcast that you can get the money? So it's better. It is so important you understand the distribution channel and medium you would use. Another one is select the most appropriate channel in addition to your blog. If you're a blogger, so it's not only blogging that you will do, it's not only writing you will do, you can incorporate another thing into it that will generate some money. Create native content for each specific. That's so important too. It's good to go global, but so bring it down. You are the one that understands your audience. What do they want? Make it native. Let them get what they want. Next slide, please. In conclusion, sorry, next slide. Let's see a slide for conclusion. Next slide. That's the importance of content creation. What are the importance of content creation in business? Number one, it provides value to audience. Sorry, that's the content. Number one, it provides value to your audience. When you create content to them, and I told you, for you to get money, you must create value. So when you give value to your audience, you get something in return. It helps in building your brand. There is no brand you would do that you don't need a content creator. It is so important. And there is no brand you will build that you don't need content creation. It's so important. You just have to generate content. Is it through your social media? You have to create something. Maybe on Twitter. Is it that video you want to create, or graphics? Is it on Facebook? Just have to create content for people to be aware of what you do. It attracts and engage prospect clients. The clients you are looking for, when they tend to see what you do, when they tend to see the content you create, it draws them to you. It magnetizes, let me use that word. It magnetizes them to you, and they'll make them to trust you. It positions you as an authority in your field, that your chosen field, that your chosen career, whatever you do. When you create content, when you generate content, it positions you as an authority. And it helps in growing your business. It helps in growing your business, develops your business to a better level to suit your aim. And it also helps in personal growth. It helps in your personal growth. It makes you a better person. Next slide, please. In conclusion, we've actually spoken about content creation, how to go about it, what to do, the tools necessary for you to be a content creator, what you require, and everything has been dished out. In conclusion, content creation requires commitment to create value and be resourceful on a daily basis. Practice leads to perfection. Do it every time. You do it probably. You do it every day to make you a better person. Content is king, which makes every content creator a kingmaker. If you're a content creator, thumbs up to you, a kingmaker. Everyone everyone needs a content creator, and we can monetize our content through creating content for firms and individuals, or through our blogs, images, videos, or graphic. If you are into graphics, if you are into videos, if you are into images, anything you do, you are actually creating content for people to do, for people to use, for people to consume, and you can actually make your money, you can monetize it, and you get paid. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. Content is king. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Favor, thank you so much for having me around.
So much, Damilola. This has actually been an amazing session. Damilola has actually dissected the whole subject matter about content creation, and this is actually very important because even as software developers, content is actually very most important while building products and actually trying to break into the market. So thank you so much, Damilola Oyeyemi. And if you guys really got something from this session, I want you to make a tweet about it. Let your people know, let your friends, your immediate network know about what you have learned about content creation. But for me, I learned something. I learned that content is king, which makes content creators makers. So that's very amazing. Thank you so much, Damilola. So right away, we're going to be jumping straight to the keynote session. It should have come before Damilola's session, but we had a break in transmission at some point when we wanted to have the keynote session. So, but we have David on standby, and then David will be jumping in to have doing the keynote for us. And if you're very much excited, please, I want you to tweet about this current event. Before we jump straight into David's session, Damilola Oyeyemi is on Twitter. Let me quickly show her. Let me show her social media handle. Yeah, she's on Twitter. Please follow Damilola Oyeyemi on Twitter at Oyeyemi, and also at Emerald Matters. And I think that's YouTube. Yeah, Emerald Matters. So follow Damilola. You can link up with her, share her content, also engage with her. Let her actually hold you by the hand into your journey of being a content creator. So that's from my end. So straight up, I'll be jumping into introducing David. David will be giving us a keynote before we jump into the next item on today's event. So yeah, David, over to you while I go.
Okay. Hello and welcome to DevFest Ado-Ekiti 2020. My name remains David Oluwabusayo, the organizer for GDG Ado-Ekiti. Thank you so much, and thank to each and every one of you for being part of us today. I so much appreciate, and we're very pleased to be able to welcome those of you that have been part of the community for so long, and those that are new to GDG Ado-Ekiti. By the grace of God, GDG Ado-Ekiti is 7 years this year, and if you attended the last year DevFest Ado-Ekiti 2019, you remember we marked our 6th anniversary with over 750 plus people in attendance. And since then, there has been so much expectation from the community, and we are proud to be able to host this year DevFest, though virtually today. And it's wonderful seeing you all. 2020 came with great expectation, and the individual has different plans and goals. But here comes COVID-19 pandemic that brought about a total lockdown across the globe, and tried all its possible best to put an end to everything. But thanks to Google that says, come what may, we are unstoppable, and make an alternative to our online meetups. To those that added an achievement to their in the year 2020, I say big kudos to you. And those that have one challenges or the other that couldn't meet up with their expectation, or that couldn't go as a plan, let me tell you this: don't be discouraged and don't relent. You can still achieve it. Before we started, I would like to express my sincere appreciation to the DevRed team, the 3As in SSA. If you know them, I'm talking in person of Anedi, Ada, and Awa, for their support to the ecosystem And to all the organizing team member of GDG Ado-Ekiti, I'm talking about Olorunfemi Ajibolu, Favour Chikwedo, Susan Adesoji, and Moses. And to the DSC lead of X2, which is Addition of Favour, Triumph Oge DSC lead footer, and Yusuf Emmanuel DSC Foyer. We couldn't have done it without you guys. I so much appreciate you. And to all the community members of GDG Ado-Ekiti for your energy, tweeting, and every other thing, I appreciate you. So in today's breakfast, I would like you to pay much attention to all the sessions. You've learned something from the first session, which is about creating a content, because we still have a whole lot of amazing speakers, and the session is fully loaded. Trust me. So during the next few hours, you're going to be learning from different sessions, from different experts, and which you can join, get hand on experience. And I hope that will definitely help you and to be more productive and be smart enough in your career as a either developer or whatever line that you're choosing in technology. Well, I don't want to take much of your time. I need to leave now to give room for other speakers to come on board to share their session with us. So, a very warm welcome to each and every one of you. If you have any question, don't hesitate to drop it in the comment section. And don't forget to tweet about the event and use the hashtag, then tag us at GDG Ado-Ekiti on the Twitter. Thank you very much for listening, and I'll be handing over to our host right now. Thank you, and I'll be glad to see you at the end of the event.
Okay, thank you so much, David Oluwabusayo. David is the lead for Google Developers Group at Ado-Ekiti. David has been amazing and remarkable trying to put the team together and all of that to make sure that we get to organize this virtual event today. Thank you so much, David. And straight up, we'll be jumping into the next part of today's event. In the next 20 minutes, we're going to be having Karan Balka. Karen is going to be talking about integrating Google Assistant for continuous integration. If you're very much excited as I am, I want you to type in the chat comment section how excited you are to have Karen join into this session to tell us about integrating Google Assistant for continuous integration. So Karen, are you ready now? Let's add you straight so we can get started with today's session. So over to you, Karen.
Okay, so good evening, everyone, and maybe Ikal in Yoruba. That's how they say it. But really, it's great to be here. And first of all, a big shout out to the GDG Ado-Ekiti team for giving me this opportunity to present my session today. So thank you so much. So let me start sharing my screen. Okay. Okay, so before I begin, so this is the topic for today is integrating Google Assistant for continuous integration. So let me also give you a brief background about myself. So my name is Karan Balkar, and I'm coming from the land of mystery and diversity. So that's India. And I've been working as a mobile developer for the past 5+ years now. But more recently, I've been dabbling with DevOps, DevSecOps, and AI. So that's what I've been doing. And apart from being passionate about technology, I would say I like to write a lot of poems. I like to also travel to different places around the globe and meet new people. So that is also what I like to do. So coming to the topic for today. So let me begin by actually quoting Sir Albert Einstein, and he said that in the world, like in the middle of every difficulty, there lies opportunity. And this is quite evident today. So this is how the world is today. So right now we are all in the middle of a pandemic. I think most of the countries are still in a lockdown situation. Virtual meetings are happening most of the time, and everywhere it's now mostly virtual meetings. We are all working from home. Social distancing has become the buzzword nowadays. Home quarantine is what people are doing, and to be honest, workspaces, our office workspaces are now slowly evolving to come to terms with these conditions. So this is how the world exists today. So before I come to the main topic, let me give you a little background. So as software professionals, I think most of us would normally come across these three terms, and I'll be describing each one of them. I think for the first term or the first concept, I would rather say, is something called as agile. Now, agile has been there for a long time, like ever since the Agile Manifesto was introduced back in 2000, like one, like 2 decades back. It has been there, and people have been using agile for a long time. But they say agile development is winning. So why is agile development really winning? So agile is basically helps to improve your quality. It helps to also provide better efficiency, and it also makes it very predictable and flexible, thereby making it more transparent. And the results are quite visible, because in a case of a waterfall model where you actually had to wait for the end to view the end product, it's not in the case of agile, where in agile you can actually view your products being developed in sprints or in phases. So that is why agile development is said to be winning. The second concept is called as the culture of continuous integration. So this is also something I think most of us might be using or might be aware of. Continuous integration, like as the name suggests, basically it means like bringing all artifacts or all assets into a one common repository, and then subjecting it to a series of a continuous runs, so that the results can be made easily visible, and it can be integrated quite often. And all this can be done by applying the best software engineering practices that are out there. So that is about continuous integration. But what personally excites me right now is the third concept, which is basically voice first technologies. Now, voice first technologies are also one of the things that are supposed, like people say that they're going to be the next big thing. So if you ask me what's the best way to solve a problem right now, I think it's conversation. Conversation is the best way to solve a problem, they say, because voice first is more natural, and it helps to improve the accessibility as well. So coming to the next slide, we all love data, right? So I think data is something that we all seek, all try to find out from various sources. So here is a quick fact. So data is a collection of facts, but this is a fact that would surprise you. So Gartner is one of the famous research organizations out there. Now Gartner predicts that 25% of digital workers will use virtual employee assistants daily by 2021. So this is a big prediction. So imagine you and your colleagues using voice assistants or virtual assistants daily in offices. So that is something that is quite a big prediction. So coming to the next slide. So as developers, we always have certain problems. Like we always face certain problems, and these problems are always keep increasing. So what I did is that I came up with some of the most common problems that as developers or as software professionals we face. So these are the four most common problems according to me. So the first problem is complexity. So no longer are our software projects are no longer those simple projects where you had a single client and one single backend and that's it. It's now more becoming more and more complex, where you have to deal with different systems, and these systems are all heterogeneous in nature, like each having their own connector, and it's becoming more and more complex as we speak. So complexity is definitely increasing, and software projects are no longer those simple projects. The second most problem that I feel is about large team size. So a large team size definitely can become a problem, especially when you have people of like belonging to different geographies and situated in different time zones. And in this case, sometimes the dependability and communication also plays a very important role, which we will also talk about in the upcoming slides. The third important problem I feel is about a higher learning curve. So here again, one is expected to know a lot of things nowadays. So no longer does one just stick to one particular technology, I would say. So it's no longer a front end kind of a role or a back end kind of role. Nowadays, it's more like a full stack kind of a role where you need to know a bit of both. So that is how things are going, and it's a high learning curve, and all these problems have to be solved against the biggest problem of all, which is time. So time is not in our hands, and time waits for no one. So all these it becomes a bottleneck, in software projects. So that is the problems that we face. So we all need information, right? So information is what we need access to from anywhere and everywhere. So information is, something that we all tend to ask each other. For example, if in a software project, your project manager or your DevOps kind of person would always ask you like, when was the last build delivered, or like, how many test cases really passed or failed. And these are some questions for which you need answers to, or you need to provide answers to. So information is something that you need. So how do you get this information? So before we come to that, let me list down a certain challenges that we face nowadays in the current scenario. So the first challenge is about dependency and communication. So as I mentioned in the previous slide, so in case of a larger team size, dependency and communication plays a very important role. For example, our teams, our software teams are not those simple teams now. So we are like having cross-functional teams where we have people from different areas. For example, we like different areas like marketing or sales. Like in case of a particular typical software project, it would be like a tester, a UX designer, a developer. So people are belonging to different roles, and there always exists some sort of dependency between these. For example, as a developer, you would be waiting for the UX designs or the approved wireframes designs before you actually start implementing them. And from if you're a tester, then you will actually have to wait for the developer to develop a particular model before you actually eventually test it. So there is always some sort of dependency that exists, and you have to wait for the previous one to get over. And especially when it comes to communication, I think communication is a very important role, plays a very important role, especially when you have people like in different geographical locations speaking different languages. And even the slightest of miscommunication can actually end up building the wrong product. So communication is very crucial. The second challenge is about time and cost matrix. So what does this mean? So today, most organizations they end up or they start developing those enterprise web portals, which are like those typical web portals where you have a lot of dashboards and graphs, and you design it with beautiful CSS and JavaScript. And then what happens? It remains as it is. So these portals are just like that, and no one actually maintains them, or no one actually goes and tries to enhance them. So they are all lying there, and these portals, you develop them, so you spend a lot of effort doing that, and then it remains as it is. The third challenge is about zero manual intervention. So having in the age of automation, having a kind of a manual intervention is not something that we would like, right? So everyone wants things to be automated. Like no one likes to actually log into a particular system, enter his credentials, go on to a particular menu or click a particular button, and then wait for the pipeline to run. It's more like it has to be automatic. So zero manual intervention right now is a challenge, but there are always ways to overcome that. And the fourth and the most important challenge I feel is about organizational culture and methodology. So what this means is that in most organizations nowadays which are transitioning, so let's say you're using a waterfall model and you want to transition to an agile model. So this transition doesn't happen overnight. So one has to realize that these transitions require a lot of like transition knowledge. KT is required for that, so that people or resources will actually learn what will the transition be and what the impact of the transition. So this kind of organizational culture changes happen, but you need to find a way to deal with it without impacting your deadlines. So these are some of the challenges that I feel exist today. So now coming to the main thing, which is what or how we can solve these problems and challenges. So this is what I'm going to propose. This is the proposed solution. So the proposed solution basically talks about creating a voice-based communication interface that uses natural human language, and it helps to basically leverage the any existing CI/CD framework. So in this case, I have chosen Jenkins. But it can be extended to any other framework that's out there, and that which exposes certain RESTful APIs to monitor certain build status, to generate reports, and much more. So that is the framework. What are the functionalities of the framework? And more importantly, leverages the latest AI technology. So here I will be talking about Dialogflow. Dialogflow is a very popular natural language platform. So that is basically being used to create those intents and do the natural language processing. And all this basically would help to provide the user with instant feedback without actually having the need to develop a centralized web portal. So this is one of the advantages of this kind of a system. So this is how the architecture of the system currently looks. So you have, as you can see on the left hand side, you have an agent. So let's say we call it agent Jenkins in this case. So that's your end user. And you have two building blocks, or basically I would say two important modules of this kind of an architecture. One is the integration and a fulfillment. So what happens is that whenever a particular, like a user says a particular expression, so let's say you say, give me the list of jobs. So in this case, I would be the integration module would be actually doing the part of intent matching. So intent is basically nothing but an end user's intention for a particular conversation. So what we do is that, so let's say you say, give me a list of jobs. So the jobs basically would be classified as an intent. and then based on the matchings that will happen in this model, it will classify those intents and it will return a particular response. So by default, any intent would return you a static response. But if you have to integrate a dynamic sort of response, that is where you need to implement or integrate something called as webhooks. So webhooks are nothing but, you can say, maybe endpoints or service endpoints where you can connect it to an external service. So in this case, I have those services deployed on Heroku. Heroku is a platform as a service, and these services are nothing but connecting to RESTful APIs of my CI framework. So in this case, it's Jenkins. And what happens is that, so let's say you say a particular expression like give me a list of jobs, and what will happen is that this would connect internally to a webhook, and the webhook will invoke a particular service, a webhook service, and that will basically query the underlying framework, so like the Jenkins framework, get the list of jobs and would send it back to the user. So that is how the flow would be. We'll be seeing this in action in a video in a short while, so stay tuned. So this is about how the architecture would look like. The solution benefits. Now, if you ask me what are the benefits of this solution, I would say I think I've highlighted most of them, but I'll go through it once again. So again, this is extendable to other platforms. So you can always extend it to other frameworks, like not only Jenkins, but other frameworks like Travis CI or Circle CI. It's a voice fish approach. So you can use your voice and you can use natural language to communicate with the agent. So you can use your natural language, the language you speak, and you can actually remotely monitor stuff. So that is the advantage of this kind of a solution. So that's it from my side. So I would like to conclude by saying that I think the future of this kind of a technology is good because you have a more number of voice-based interfaces coming up. The support for wearable devices is also extended. So like we have nowadays on Google Assistant, on smartwatches, even in cars, and smart glasses as well. On the other side, I think security and user verification is something that is currently being worked on. I think a lot of research has been going on in this field. And at the end of the day, we are all trying to improve the conversations, right? So this is how we would hope things would end. So thank you so much, and I think please feel free to contact me in case of any queries or any feedback. I have mentioned my email here, so please do contact me in case of any feedback. So I will now quickly move to the demo. Okay. Okay, so this is basically the video. I hope you are all able to see the video. If not, please let me know. Okay, so this is basically the simulator, or you can see the Jenkins the agent simulator over here. So this is our agent Jenkins here. So let's say I give a particular command. So like say how many jobs are running. Okay, so this will basically query the Jenkins system, and it would say like, okay, you have a total of 1 jobs in your pipeline, whether you want to actually start or stop a build. So let's say you say I want to start a build. So let's say you say a start job. So this will actually now go and start a job. So this will, if you now go to Jenkins, so I would actually show you here. So okay, so it's asking for specifying the job name. So you have to specify the job name. So in this case, it's Hello World or any job, the build that you specify. So now you can see that the build has started successfully. So if you log into Jenkins, okay, so if you go to Jenkins, you can see that okay, there is a build now in queue. The build has been triggered by our agent. So let me move ahead in the video. So the build is now in progress. So it's currently ongoing. So let me move a little bit ahead so that you can see what happens next. Okay, so once the build has been completed, so you can also query the agent to check the progress of the build. So there is also an expression for that. Okay, so let's see now the build has completed. So let's check the status. So let's say we say that tell me job status. This is the expression. So it would query the response back to you saying that okay, the job one is hello world and the last build was successful. And then you can do a lot of things. So in this case, I would send an email report, but you can customize it as per your needs. You can create a task or close a ticket in Jira or something like that, and the possibilities are endless. So you can do it as per your needs. So in this case, I sent an email with the job details saying that okay, the job was successful, and that's how it is done currently. But it can be extended to other possibilities as well. So yes, so that's about it from my side. Thank you so much for this opportunity once again, and I think hoping to participate next year as well, hopefully in person and not virtually. So thank you so much. Any questions? Okay, so okay, so I'm okay. So I have my email. So I think anyone who has any questions can send me an email or any that would also be okay for me. I would be happy to reply to that as well. If there are any questions, I would like to take it up. Okay. Okay. So I think if there are no questions, I think we can. Okay, so fine. So thank you so much once again, and it was really nice being a part of Ado-Ekiti. And once again, congratulations to the team for completing 7 years, and hope you grow, to more years to come. So thank you so much, and have a nice evening.
Hello, thanks so much, Karen. That was a nice, very nice session from your side. It seems there's no
Thank
question
you.
for you, so Karen already dropped his email address. So if you have any question, you can push it to him on email. Karen, please can you share your Twitter handle? Okay, you don't have a Twitter handle, so thank you so much,
Yeah,
Karen.
yeah. So no problem. I think people can get in touch with me over email. No issues. I'll be happy to help, and I'll be sharing the slides and videos to the team, and they can share it across. So no issues about that.
All right. Thank you so much. We'll reach out to
Thank
you
you.
with questions. Email.
Thank
So
you.
yeah, thank you. So hello everybody. So it seems we are not really responding well, and we are not seeing our hashtag. So this is to remind everyone that we are going to celebrate the highest hashtag. And apart from that, we need engagement on Twitter. We need people to know what's going on there first. We need people to know what's up with Chidi Ado-Ekiti. So whatever thing you learn from Karen, whatever thing you learn from Damilola, please let's push everything to Twitter. If you have any question, you can ask us on Twitter. We can help you ask them. So that is all about that. So we'll be moving forward now, and the next speaker is okay. We'll be inviting Sleep right now. Hey, sorry for that. Okay, so we'll be inviting Sleek to come over here and help us Sleek, please, are you available? Hello, Sleek. I see Sleek is not available. So we will invite our third speaker, which is Karen too. Her name is Karen. So she'll be speaking on women thriving in tech space, which is very, very important. So Karen, Sumisola, hope you're available.
Oh,
Okay.
not supposed to be my time just yet. Hello, can you hear me? Hello, can you hear me? Okay. Uh, I don't know. It's not supposed to be my time to present just yet, but anyway, I'm here, so it's not a problem. Welcome everybody, or good evening everybody. I'm so happy to be here. Thank you to Susan and to Favor for inviting me. So I'm speaking on the topic women thriving in the tech space. Let me try to share my screen. Okay, so I'm going to be speaking on this topic, women thriving in the tech space. So a little bit about me. My name is Karen Simisola Iferian, as you already heard. I'm a full stack developer, and I place a high emphasis on building for humans. I believe that good software should be built around people. So I try to make technical decisions that put my end users at the forefront, and just make sure that my end users and consumers of my software products have a seamless experience. I also like to share my unique perspective on software development as a beginner. I do this by writing technical articles, being on podcasts, and speaking at great events like this. I'm enthused by open source, and I like to see the magic that happens when passionate people come together to solve problems. I'm actively looking for my first technical role. So if you have a team that is fun and you guys are working on interesting and challenging projects, make sure to send them my way. Then you can find me on the internet at my website or portfolio, which is this link right here. So today we'll be speaking on misogynist discrimination in the tech industry. So according to Wikipedia, misogyny refers to the hatred of or contempt for or prejudice against women or girls. Misogyny punishes those who reject this inferior status that has been given to women and rewards those who accept it. This is such a very sad reality about what is happening. Since we'll be focusing a lot on the tech industry, then I don't want to be too extreme and say that in the tech industry there's a hatred for women. No, that would be too extreme. It's not particularly a hatred, it's just kind of a bias, a discrimination that happens. There just tends to be this feeling that maybe women in tech, they are a little bit less competent than their male counterparts. I'm going to show you some, at least one very shocking statistics that proves that this idea of misogynistic discrimination is actually very true. So I read the statistics that in Yale University, once upon a time, some researchers wanted to know how deep-seated this discrimination or bias between men and women are. So they brought together 167 professors, and what they did was they came up with a mock application of two candidates that had very similar skills, and they brought it to professors and said, okay, these two people are trying to apply for this job. The only difference was that one of them was a male named John and the other was a female named Jennifer. Now the professors were to score these two people based on their level of competence, how hireable they were, and the amount of mentoring that should go to each of them. When the results came back, it was so shocking because all the professors, and professors included both male and female, all the professors showed a higher preference or leaning towards the male. In terms of competence, all the professors said that the males they gave them a 4-star rating of competence, while they gave the ladies about 3.5, 3.6 star rating. In terms of hireability, they gave the men maybe 3.8 and the women very low, about not even up to 3. And for mentoring, they felt like the males deserved 4.678 while the females deserved just 4.0. And that really spoke a lot about this discrimination that exists generally among scientists in the tech space. Here's a disclaimer: I'm by no means a feminist, and I have a lot of male friends who are doing very well in the industry and who also support we women also doing great. So I'm not by any means, condemning or being a feminist. It's just this topic is just really something that we need to speak about. So this is just one of the very shocking statistics that I found out while researching. There were others that were even worse than this, especially when it comes to the area of um, managerial positions, women being in boards of directors of top companies. We found out that very few women, many times in a board that had 7, 8 members, you had maybe 1 or 0 women in that board of directors, which is really quite, sad. So let's go on. It's becoming our reality. Sadly, this deplorable condition that I just spoke about, where there is this discrimination against women, it's becoming so prevalent in the tech industry, and it is slowly becoming a narrative. Women these days in the tech industry, many women are so unsure of themselves. They doubt themselves that even when it comes to applying for jobs, once they see that, oh, there are also men applying for these jobs, just for the pure or for the only reason that there is also a male applying to this job, they just withdraw. They just feel like there's no way I have a chance against this male counterpart. Even for speaking conferences, writing articles, just generally in the tech world, women are starting to key into the mindset that they don't have anything to do. They don't have anything to say. They don't have anything to contribute to the organization. They don't have anything to contribute to the company. Just the mindset that they don't have anything to say. Susan, can you all hear me? Can you hear me? Okay. All right. I'm so sorry for that break. So, generally speaking, it's becoming a reality that so many women are unsure of themselves, and it's biting deep into our culture in tech, and it's really such a deplorable condition, and we should find something to do about this. So the question comes up, what can we do to change the narrative? Should we just keep on looking at it and believe that, well, there's really nothing that can be done? It's so sad, but it means we just have to, as women, we just have to take the back seat and just let our male counterparts keep doing the great things. No, there are actually things that we can do, and I've listed about 7 things that I could think of that we can implement. They are tiny changes, but if we keep on doing them, it might actually change the narrative. The first thing is, as women in the tech industry, we need to believe in ourselves. If you don't believe in yourself, if you don't believe that you are capable to do something, if you don't believe that you have the same skills, you are as deserving of um of a position, of something as much as your male counterparts are, then you don't expect people to believe in you. So we women should stand up to the challenge and start believing in ourselves. Let's believe that we are capable of doing things. Let's believe that that talk that you want to give and you're so scared nobody's going to listen to me, believe that you can do it. Write out or put yourself out there. If you see a call for paper, submit your paper, what you want to talk about. What's the worst thing that can happen? They say, oh, sorry, but we don't think you be a great fit for today's or for this year's conference. That's okay. Next year, apply again. If we keep on doing those very little things, but we are consistent at it, at the end of the day, we might actually be able to change the narrative. Something else I think we can do to help change the narrative is to identify our strengths. It's not possible for all of us to have strength in the same exact thing. It's not possible. I might not be the best public speaker, but I might have a strength in organizing conferences. You know, some people have that strength in organizing conferences. They have superb attention to detail. They know how to send people emails, just really manage conferences. If that is what you are good at, if you know that, okay, I can't do every other thing, but um preparing or planning for a conference is something I'm very good at. Identify your strengths. If you don't have a strength in organizing conferences, you can't really do public speaking because you are shy, then what about writing technical articles? You don't need to see anybody's face. Nobody needs to see your face. Just express yourself by words. So if you know how to do that, you know how to express yourself, you know how to break complex topics into very small, tiny, minute bits for people to understand. Why don't you focus on that strength that you have? Focusing on one strength, I feel, does two things. Number one, it makes you happy, realizing that, okay, there is something that I can also do. It just gives this kind of happiness, confidence in yourself. Then secondly, if you identify your strengths, it makes you less focused on what other people are doing. If you keep focusing, oh, this person gave a talk today, gave a talk the last week, or did this, and you can't really figure out what you are able to do, it makes you miserable because it seems like every other person is progressing, it's only me. So if you are able to identify your strengths, and the truth is everybody has something they are good at, every single human being. It might take a while for you to figure out that particular thing you are good at, but it's something worth doing. So I would encourage you, if you haven't figured out that thing you know how to do very well, maybe you should put in some more effort. What interests you? Do you just like to help other people? Then maybe you can consider volunteering. There are um so many teams, so many communities like GDG, Ado-Ekiti, GDG, all over the country, all over the state. Why not consider volunteering to help them in organizing conferences or just doing something? Identify your strengths. It's very important. It's one thing we all can do to change the narrative. Something else we can do is to encourage other women who you feel are doing well. So if you know somebody who gives good speeches or talks, or you know somebody, a lady who writes very awesome articles, just read and you're like, wow, I've been looking for an article to break down this topic, and finally I stumbled on this article. If you really enjoy the article, you think he or she did a good job, send them a message. Thank God for Twitter. It's so easy. Just make a tweet, tag them, and thank them for what they did, or send them an email. It's so good. It boosts your self-esteem. So we can also encourage and lift up other women in tech who are doing amazing. We can also speak up for our sisters, I mean our tech sisters. They do something, it's still very close to the other point, which is to lift up and encourage others. And I will also say that we want to learn to celebrate our small wins. Sometimes it's really difficult to pay a lot of attention on what we are not doing well. Oh, I wish I did better in this talk. Oh, I wish I wrote this article better. Oh, I wish I put into consideration this when organizing this conference. We keep doing that and we ignore the small things we were able to do. So sorry. So we keep dwelling on the things that we didn't do very well, and we forget, or kind of not find the time to celebrate our small wins. Were you able to successfully write an article after postponing it for days, for weeks? That's a win. You can celebrate it. Maybe you finally got an opportunity to speak at your first conference ever. That's a win. Celebrate it. When you celebrate your small wins, those small wins, they come together, they add up to become a bigger win. Celebrating your small wins is also very important. Another point is, don't worry so much about, or don't feel depressed because this person is doing this person is doing this. Just know that your time will come. There's always time for everything. That person that you see doing so amazing, it might have taken days, months, sometimes even years for them to get to where they are. So maybe you just started writing technical articles today. You don't expect to just grow to the point where somebody who has been writing for months, years is at. It's not possible. So I would say just keep in mind that your time will come sooner or later. Just keep doing what you're doing. Very soon the rewards of your hard work is going to come. Then lastly, be inspired. Don't be intimidated by what others are doing. Instead, see that as a push to even do better. So now I've spoken about what we can do to change the narrative. Some people might be thinking, okay, I've heard you. Believe in yourself, identify your strengths. Give me examples. I don't really know. Are there anybody, are there women like that around me, maybe on the internet, that I can look to as a source of motivation? And there are. So I listed, or I tried to find some women who I feel they're actually doing very good to change the narrative. So I looked for some of them. And here's the first person. This is Abigail Makolo. You might know her, you might not know her. She's in the design world. She's a digital products designer. She's an open source design advocate. She was in 2019 a Google Code in mentor for Anita Borg. She's a computer science graduate and she's a scholar. She graduated with a 5.0 in her course. She loves to geek about photography. She speaks at technical conferences also, and this is her website. I might want to copy the link for you. So in the tech space, we have designers, and Abigail is in the design space, and she's doing really well in that space. Now let's talk about somebody else. This is Ruth. You might probably know Ruth, a backend developer. She's a GitHub star, the first female GitHub star in Nigeria. She's an advocate for open source. She likes to bring beginners into open source. She's a public speaker and an awesome technical writer. Then we also have Bami Ogunfemi, who is also a front-end engineer, a technical writer, an advocate for building developer communities, and a public speaker. So really, I just brought out these three. There are tons more, hundreds more of these women who are doing great in all of their different aspects of tech. So really, try to learn more about them. Go online. That's what we have Google for. Try to search. Look in your territory, within your GDG, your DSC community for women who are doing amazing, and try to relate with them. So finally, misogynist discrimination does not have to continue. We need your unique strength in tech. So if you have a strength, you've been so scared, you've been hiding under the shadows, come out. Let's see your face. We need your unique strength. Bring in your strength, whatever you know how to do well. There is an area of tech that needs you. Don't be intimidated. Keep being inspired. So that's it. Thank you very much, everyone. Thank you, GDG, the first Ado-Ekiti, for inviting me. Have a great day, everyone.
Yeah, that's amazing, amazing. Thank you so much, Karen, for that amazing session. Karen has been doing so remarkable. Also, I've been following Karen on Twitter like in the past few months, and Karen has been really amazing. Thank you so much, Karen, for that session. Please keep tweeting about current events. Let them know about the event. Let them know. Let them know about our event. Let them know what is currently happening at Google Developers Group Ado-Ekiti Dev Fest event. Let them know. Let people know what is really happening. And then next up, we're going to be starting our fireside chat. It's going to be very short before we move into the next speaker. Siddiq is going to be coming right after the fireside chat. Siddiq is going to be talking about Android Jetpack. And Siddiq is really amazing. And I want you to stand by to listen to Siddiq. But before we jump into Siddiq's session, yeah, for the fireside chat, I actually told us to keep tweeting, keep informing people about the DevFest event, keep letting people know what is going to happen in today's event. Let us tweet about our expectations. Let us tweet about what we are actually hoping to get in today's session. Let us also invite our immediate network to come and learn one or two things from Google's technology, you know, from the cloud to web and to the mobile technologies, you know. So yeah. There was a tax I was given yesterday, and actually have two winners for that tax. Yeah, I have two winners. I know you guys are really ready to hear this. I have two winners. I'll be communicating to Noniola and Cesarify. I don't know. I'm going to check out your full name, but Cesarify, please drop us a message or drop a comment in any of our tweets, letting us know that you are Cesarify. We'll verify based on the tweet link that you sent earlier. And also Noniola, please drop in Noniola OON. I think that's what it is. Just drop us a message on Twitter, and we're going to follow up with that. So you're actually going to be our first amazing winners that for today's event. So yeah, we still have amazing prizes to actually give out. We said we're also going to take care of the data of some of the members that are going to be participating today. So yeah, you are actually covered for today's event. So keep tweeting. I'm also going to be watching the trend. I'm going to be watching the trend. Use the approved hashtags Google Developers Group Ado-Ekiti and DevFest 2020. I'm going to be following the hashtags to know okay, this is the kind of the tweets that actually are generating the highest form of engagement, and they are also going to be our second set of winners. So please keep tweeting, drop in your comments, whatever a speaker says that interests you or intrigues you, talk about it, post it on Twitter, post it on Facebook, post it. Just let everyone know that their first Ado-Ekiti is happening. So yeah, that's be all from me. Cesarify and Noniola, you guys are my two winners for the first prize. Our first palliative that's actually going out. Yes, Cesarify and Noniola. So next up, I'm going to be bringing up Siddiq. Yeah, Siddiq is going to be talking about Android Jetpack Compose. Yeah, and Siddiq is an Android Google developers expert and Intel Android software innovator. That is really a fantastic profile there. Yeah, Siddiq is yeah. Hi, Siddiq. So this is Siddiq is a Google developers expert, and he'll be taking us on Android Jetpack Compose. So yeah, Siddiq, you have the floor for the next 20 minutes, and give your best.
Thank you. Can I start?
Yeah, you can start now.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, everyone, for giving a chance to talk and to share about the Jetpack Compose in this GDG Ado-Ekiti. And it's been a pleasure for me to talk with and to be a part in this event, and especially for Nigeria developer community. Thank you very much. Let me share the screen. Yeah, I wish my screen is already show in the screen, in your screen. Okay, okay. Before I'm talking about the Jetpack Compose, I would like to introduce myself first. My name is Ripi Permana. I'm a co-founder and CIO at NBS. This is my own company. I can say that myself is the software half of a software engineer and half entrepreneur. I'm co-founding company NBS since the 2013. It's been 7 years, and right now we have we have two sister companies, and we're located in the two countries, one in Indonesia and two cities in the United States, and we are trying to enter the Singaporean market by next year. Currently, I'm a Google developer expert for Android. It is from 2015, and I've been working for Android since 2010. And say that I've been working for Android for 10 years by now. Then before that, I'm joining the Intel Software Innovator. This is a similar program from different companies that want to accelerate the local developers and to support local developers to be more updates and to be more ready for the industry changes. Then I also a technical contributor at decoding.com. This is the biggest and the largest developer community hub in Indonesia. I'm working with some of the academy, some of the classes, and to ensure that all the materials for in Android stuff and Kotlin, around Android and Kotlin are matched with the existing industry needs. My life passion: coding, traveling, teaching, and scuba diving. Before I jump into the Jetpack Compose, I would like to remind you about the existing UI toolkit. I believe all the Android developers know this because this is the thing that we have to do daily when we are working with Android. We know that all the parent of the anything of the UI toolkit in Android based on the view, when the based on the view, and then the inherit of the view will be widget, view group, component. We use the app resources. We have the dialogues, animation to make our application intuitive, and then there will be on top of that there will be material system design that becoming UI system design to standardize about how our application works and how application behave and interacting with our users. And then another one is about the complexity that coming with the existing view system that has been 12 years, maybe more than 10 years. Android view system is been more than 10 years that having their own complexity and their own challenges. They're still maintained by until today to serve developer and developers to be more productive, right? But yeah, it is there's a complexity beyond beneath of the existing system. As we know that Fuse itself, there will be 30,000 of line of code, and text view and etc. There's a bunch of works that might be developer, the maintainer of the Android itself, still fighting with all the function and features to make the developers happy with writing code in Android. And another one, we are writing user interface in the XML file, right? When we use developing the Android, we use the business logic mostly in the activity component and Java classes or Kotlin classes. Then we develop the user interface in the XML side, right? Then it's been 10 years to do that. We happy? Yes, we are happy because it is separate the things. We focus on the UI with the XML, but and then another part is we focus on the development of with the Kotlin and Java class. But again, it is producing the new complexity. But this kind of like a known issue for the 10 years. This is the problem from the existing UI toolkit. The first, the relation of the UI components and such as the activity and fragment is tightly coupled. XML cannot be separated by activity and fragment. That's why if we talk about the software design principle, it is very less cohesion and highly coupled. Is this not good? Yes, it is not good. But this is like a known issue for the 10 years, right? And we try to solve this problem by defining the things more clearly and more transparent, right? That's why Jetpack comes. Yeah? Number two, resource inflation. Inflation is the entry point of the transform of the existing XML layout into something that able to be rendered in the screen. So this is the process that to be expensive in the memory. If you know about how to transform the XML until to the render, it will be a transform and then it will be rendering and rasterization before it's rendering by GPU through the OpenGLES, right? This is the something two different language but owning same complexity and expensive resources in the processing. Number three, UI toolkit tied to the OS. Yeah, you might be familiar with the problem. Maybe when you develop an app with the sum of devices able to run as expected, to be delivering the UI as expected, but not in the other devices because the existing UI toolkit has a problem with they are tightly coupled in the operating system. So it depends updates of the operating system in those devices. State management is tricky because we manage many state management, right? We manage state management of our application, our data flow, our business logic. We have to understand about the state management of our component, activity, fragment, service, and etc. And also the view itself. Yeah, the view itself. They are maintaining their own they're maintaining their own state. So there will be three different states that we have to manage in the same time. A lot of context switching. It is similar. We have three different contexts: view context, component context, and application context. So where it's sometimes it's hard to when we have to use the view, when we have to use the component context, for instance, the activity of fragment, and when we have to use the application context, right? Simple things require a lot of codes. Imagine you develop a circular image view. If there's not access right now in the library, for instance, if there's no one develop it, you need to develop your own circular image view. Then you need, for the sample instance of the circular image view, you need to write down a bunch of code, right? Because yeah, I don't think it doesn't need to write down a bunch of code if we use the Jetpack Compose. So that's why Jetpack Compose comes to solve this problem. First, less of code. So when we writing the user interface component in the Jetpack Compose, we focus to building components like a Lego blocks. One Lego blocks and combining Lego blocks to others to building a user interface. So we focus and less code. So we just need to understand about how we building the code, not seeing the maybe hundreds line of the UI XML written in the XML, right? Then intuitive, right? Because we are using the functional programming, we are using the functions. It will be very declarative to define the user interface. Just define with the declarative way with the functions of the Kotlin. As for development, when we use and when we understand about how the component works, then we able to speed up the development because we focus on component per component of the Jetpack composable UI. The powerful because yeah, the Android team promised that Jetpack Compose will be performant because we are writing the codes in the same language, right? Not in the different language again, right? We are writing in the same language, Kotlin, and the online Kotlin. Compose, by the definition, it will be we are composing something to combine together from a wall. So imagine if we are playing with the Lego blocks. We have a Lego, a block of Lego. Then we combine. Then we combine to others to compose to the certain form. For instance, maybe a Star Wars spaceship or building or car. That's how the analogical for the Jetpack Compose. We're building pieces per pieces of the user interface. So the anatomy will be like this. We have a header, we have the body maybe, and the whole user interface. This is the declarative way when we define the user interface with modern way with the Jetpack Compose. So when we break through, maybe our app in the user interface part will be contains a lot of Jetpack Compose. One Jetpack Compose, one function Jetpack composable function will be consist a lot of composable functions. So for instance, like this, in this user interface, maybe there will be 3 different components of composable functions. First, on the top, we can define very focus on the component that able to receive the input, right? There will be consist of the text field and also the button. Another composable, the list. We can define a list which is consist with the end of items of the component, which is consists of a text and checkbox. And another component, a button itself, to receive the input from the users, right? So composable building blocks. Technically, there will be 2. First, the compose. First, the build time. If you want to use the composable function, you just need to use the Android Studio that will be provide you by a composable compiler plugin and the latest Kotlin compiler. So it means that Jetpack composable function, Jetpack Compose doesn't available is not available in the existing release Android stable Android Studio. On the runtime, there will be a bunch of the library when you compile IPK or app bundle. There will be involved in that in that executable file. So it will be material, UI foundation, UI core, and the runtime itself. So for instance, when we develop the one of component like this, list item, there will be like this the code. So we define the row is like a linear layout with the horizontal orientation. Then this composable consists with others composable to define the one component of the piece of the component of the user interface like this. So you can see that how we express, how we define the user interface is more declarative. So what about the advantages? The advantages is first, unbundle from the Android framework. It can be independent. So there will be idea that when we are able to write down one component, specifically it is able to reuse in the web and in the desktop. So or maybe in the future in the iOS side. So it is very independent. Second, modern language. We are using Kotlin. We love Kotlin, right? So the function is the first citizen, and we can leverage the power of the function in the Kotlin to develop the user interface. Be more separation of concern. We can separate. We can manage the state better, and single source of truth. So everything is transparent. So we can know about how the user interface manage the state and how the user interface behaves as we expected. Number four, efficient and performance. This is something that Android team promised that we don't need to use XML anymore in the future because we will working in the same language in the Java or in the Kotlin only. So we are writing down the user interface in the Kotlin. We are writing down the business logic and the components in the Kotlin. So I think it will be more performant and effective in rendering the user's interface into the screen. Number five, material design from the start. Since you first time you generate the project, you create the project, the material design is already there to use it, right? So you don't need to adding more another customization, and the start is very fresh using material design. The sixth, is it XML will be obsolete? No. The material design, the Compose, Jetpack Compose is the new way of us to do the development of the user interface. Then it is interoperable with the existing view system. So we can use the Jetpack component, Jetpack Compose in the existing layout, existing view system which is in the XML and vice versa. So maybe when you see the Jetpack component, Jetpack Compose, it is similar like what we have in other platforms. For instance, in the Swift UI, in the Flutter or Ignite. Yes, this is the similar but not the same because Jetpack Compose has a different and specific approach in building the user interface using the composable function, which is leverage the power of the Kotlin capabilities. So before you jump in or writing the Jetpack Compose, I encourage you to understand the basic core concept of the functional programming in the Kotlin, kind of like top level function, extension function, higher order function, and Lambda. And you need to understand about how the observable works, right? As long as you have ever worked with the observer pattern or RX, or even you have ever worked with the live data and view model, I don't think it's a big deal for you to understand about Jetpack Compose in the future. Then number three, you have to understand about how the domain-specific language works in the Kotlin. Then number four, the concept composition over inheritance. All these topics, all these basic theories, all these basic concepts, you are able can be found in the Google. You just find it out, and then learn about it before you jump into the Jetpack Compose. Sharpening the basic concepts will help you more when you're writing down the user interface using Jetpack Compose. So what need to prepare? What need to prepare is change our mindset. We don't need to use XML anymore if we don't need it. For instance, maybe we still need it if the component doesn't available in the Jetpack Compose. For instance, maps, ads, maybe custom player. Number two, our mental model needs to understand about how the Jetpack Compose works, how the unidirectional data works, and how the state management works in the Jetpack Compose. Number three, we have to brace ourselves to start to loving the new way of the building user interface. Number four, just download the Android Studio Canary version to give a try to Jetpack Compose because it is only available in the Canary version. Number five, since we are not using the XML basis, so be patient with the automatic build produced by the compiler. Number six, is it still in alpha? Not recommending to use it in the production. It is still in alpha 8, updated in the last 2 days. still in experimental, but keep in mind that only adjustment needed in the updating this library, but the core concept is already solid. So what are we going to talk? First, the composable function, how the composable function works, foundation, the modifier, the state in compose, testing composable, and interoperability. Also, I will share the demo. Okay, the composable function. The composable function will be a function which has the annotation composable above that, right? On top of that. For instance, like this, we define the composable function, which is able to consist many composable function in it. So that one is the composable function. So for the layout itself, there will be 4 layout that available for this version of the composable function. First, column. Column is like a linear layout with the vertical order, right? Row is like a linear layout with the horizontal order. The box is like a relative layout and frame layout in existing view system. And the constraint, constraint, we love constraint. Then still, it is available in the Jetpack Compose. The foundation, basics widget that we have already known in the existing Android view, having a different name in the Jetpack Compose because the mindset is different. Existing view system depend based on the object-oriented programming, with all the things are object. Compose is the function. All the things are function. For instance, edit text in the Android view system is the text field in the Jetpack Compose. And recycle view in the Android view system is the lazy column for the Jetpack Compose. And as you know that we don't need to write down the adapter again for defining each item in the list as we did in the recycle view. So keep in mind there will be different names of the existing one and the new one, right? So like one instant, like what written in the slide, the text field is a function that consists with the properties, with the fields, and also a function or composable function. Theming Android material design since the beginning, written in the Kotlin, generated by the system. You don't need to generate it manually. It is still automatically generated since the first time you generate the project. So you just need to adjust with your existing needs. Modifier is the property modificator, right? You just need to manipulate it, chaining the methods to satisfy the existing how the certain component of the UI looks like. For instance, the modifier for the column will be fill max width. It means that match parent and the width padding 16 dp, right? So modifier will be available in every composable function. You just need it. You just chaining the method as you want, as you need it to satisfy the design specs. State and memoization. State is how the composable hold the state and manage the state. And memoization is about how the runtime, the composable runtime able to memoization means that how the Jetpack composable function reminds about the last state changes the owning, right? So because it will be like a tree, right? The composable will be like tree. So when there's a changes, it doesn't need to refresh all the things, to render all the things. Only renders to the part of the component that only changes the state. So state management in application. This is the quite hard topics, but I would like to share you with the simple words. State management is the art of the development of the application, right? The thing that we always deal with daily with the when we developing the application. State is meaning like an object that always change and able to change that value over time. State management in Android, I would like to recall again, there will be 5 ways to manage state management in Android. First, lifecycle in core component, states in Android views, live data in view model, data binding, observable object, right? There will be 5 that we are able to manage to define how we do state management in Android world. So based on that, we used to understand about unidirectional data flow. It means that the events produced by the user interface of the user able to change the state, and the updated state will be reflected again back to the screen, to the screen, right? So event will be generated by part of the UI, able to triggered by users and pass up. Update state is the handler, the controller, who update the state, who is capable to update the state, and display state is the updated state to be shown in the screen. For instance, the event will be user click the button, and the controller, the handler of the state is the on-click listener, and the display state is maybe showing the calculation or showing the toast or snack bar. Unidirectional data flow means that the user interface will be producing event to change the state, to update the state. And every time the state is updated, it will be reflected, it will be sending back to the user interface to be shown in the screen. So this will be unidirectional, only one way. We do it, the unidirectional data flow, when we use live data and view model for the instance, right? We separate the business logic from the user interface. So the user interface only subscribe to the observable object, yeah, to manage the state. Then the benefit one is the testability. We can isolate it, each testing for the components, both for the view model, and also for the UI itself. State encapsulation only encapsulated in the specific area, in the specific part of the application, right? So when we have when there is a bug, we know about how to solve the problem, and we know that where the bug's coming from, and the UI consistency, because state update will be reflected to the UI, so we are able to manage the risk, misbehavior the application produce if we are not using the observable object, for instance live data. So representing state in the composable will be managing existing composables function with state, with the value they hold, right? Like this, we just use the remember and we use mutable set of. It means that composable will be transparent. So we know about how to control our state in every part of the component of the user interface. To hold the state, there will be two. There is two objects to do that. First, a state and mutable state. State is the immutable. Mutable state, as its name, it is mutable state, right? To transform live data from the live data to the state, you just live data observe as state. It means that state is only available in the scope, a local scope of the composable function. If you want to more global scope, you can use live data or flow, yeah, live data or flow in view model. Stats in the composable memoization, it means that how to remember the state, how to remember the latest value of the state in the composable function. Another one is the stateful composable, composable that able to change the state. Stateless composable will be number 3 is stateless composable. It means that the stupid or dumb composable that only responsible for emitting the events. Hoisting state, we are pulling out the state from the composable, so make it stateless composable. and internal state, how the entire state managed in the composable. Memoization, as we talked, is the optimization technique by only hold the latest value of the composable. So when there's a changes, it doesn't affect to render again from the whole the tree of the user interface. Only change to the space to the certain area that having a change the state. Memoization will be using remember function. So you just using remember and what value you want to remind, right? Then, for example, like this, in this code, the form layout is the stateful composable that holds the state, first result, the remember function, and the mutable state of it holds the double value. And also the radius, it holds the string value. Composition and composition, it is rendering and re-rendering again of the user interface. Because the composition and recomposition is the something expensive in computation, then intelligently the composable function will be only re-render again the composable function that only having changes state changes, right? So it doesn't affect to render from top of the tree to all. Stateless composable, as we talked earlier, it is a composable that only responsible to show the data and to emit the event, right? As I said, this is the stupid or dumb composable. For instance, like this, to do item input, there are no way for the stateless composable to change the state because there's no state here. It is only responsible for showing the update data, the latest data, and triggering the event. Stateful composable, it is the contrary from the stateless. It is the smart composable that holds the and manage the state. For instance, like this to-do item entry input consists the state they manage of the to-do item input, which is the stateless composable for this composable, right? State hosting, we pulling out the state, we pulling out the state from the composable, so make it one is the stateless and one is stateful. The purpose is how we are able to manage the state and how we are able to control from the outside context, so outside component, for instance, in the activity. So, for instance, like this, the to-do item input will be only stateless composable, and to instance state, there will be function, and it is similar way like what we did in the activity and fragment. We just call the save instance state. So when we have the configuration changes, the impact is minimal because we save the instance, save the value in the save instance state. So yeah, similar like a previous one. Testing because we don't have view find by ID, right? There's no ID in the composable. We just use nodes, right? We just use node with the criteria, with the text, with has something, right? To indicate that owning the component. So we have to, before that we have to understand the semantic. We have to understand about the how it renders, how it is composed. So from that we have to know about the hierarchy of the composable that we use, because it is focused on the piece of the UI. So the ritual will be like this: we put the dependency, and then we put the role, and then we do some configuration in the setup. Then after that, right, we do the selection composable to take the node. For instance, composable test rule on node hashtag button. Hashtag button means that we will take the composable function which has the text button that will be controlled, right? Then if we want to all the nodes, we just use all the nodes because there is no ID in the compose. So unmerge and merge because this text input layout contains consists by a text field and the label. So we need to unmerge to get that node to be tested. So the things that we do is only use unmerge tree. So the compiler will know about which part that want to be tested. Another one is the trick is to add test tag with the modifier incomposable. With the we just add the test tag, right, with a specific name. Then when we use it, we just use it the tag to find the node to be controlled. For instance, like this, find text input by field will be finding on node which has a input method support and with tag defined given tag that we give to the function. Then when it is called, it will be like this: find input text radius field and perform to do something specifically. For instance, writing the text in the screen and in the text field, and then doing the thing that we want to do in the test. Assertion is a lot. There will be a lot of assertion from display, hashtags, and con equals and any, right? There is many ways to verify that the condition is matched with the expected. The actions, there will be many actions that provided by the team by the Jetpack Compose to be used, right? For instance, like this, when we just there will be perform clicks, perform text input, and etc. So interoperability, we still use the lovable Android view system existing with the Jetpack Compose vice versa. For instance, I want to use the YouTube player view library in the GitHub. Then I just used to set it up dependency in the Gradle, and I just need to develop a composable function with the Android view composable, right? Then we set up the configuration like this. Then the property and the callback and etc. Just like this. Then we can use it in the other composable. Yeah. Then the result is good. I will share the screen. For instance, can you see?
Hi, City. Can you see how you can wrap up the session?
Yeah, okay. Last one. Okay. For instance, this one is a video player is created by composable function. Then another one is Android view. We use composable in the Android view. We just put it down in the composite view, right? Then we just control it like what we did in the common function in the Android view system. So the source code will be available. I will share the deck to the David and the team. So you are able to learn more about the sample that I made. Then there's helpful links for Jetpack Compose, even some of the libraries, some of the source codes available in the GitHub. You just need to learn, you just need to adapt with the existing needs. Then you can do experimental works before it is launched officially by Google. Conclusion, too long, right? Give a try to Jetpack Compose and feel the power of the Jetpack Compose. I'm very happy with the Jetpack Compose because it simplifies my work to develop the user interface in Android. Soon or later, the migration from the XML will be real. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much, Siddiq. I really am very much supercharged and excited about your session. It's been really an amazing about 30 minutes with you right here. You did really a great job talking about state management in Android, and I actually picked a few things. I picked a few things about the five ways
Thank
of
you.
talk about life cycle component. I think I heard that.
Yeah.
I also heard about states and incomposable that you talked about,
Yeah.
stateful, hoisting, and the rest of them. Really, it
Yeah.
was an amazing session, and I really thank you so much for jumping in on this call to make the first Ado-Ekiti a
Yeah.
memorable one today. Thank you so much, Siddiq,
Thank
and
you so much. Thank you so much.
yeah, thank you so
Just
much, Siddiq. Yeah.
just sending me the tweets or email if you have any questions.
Yeah, so yeah, for those that have questions, they are currently dropping on the comment section, and we'll attend to it. And you can also private chat Siddiq. You can search him up on the social media platform. You're going to see Siddiq Permana, and then he's going to be with open arms, ready to answer your questions. So thank you so much, Siddiq, for having given us this heads up on state management in Android. Thank you so much, Siddiq.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, bye. So the next
Bye.
we are going to be jumping in to introduce our next speaker for this session, and but before then, I have been tracking the engagements that have been happening on Twitter, and I'm really very much impressed by a few individuals: Emmanuel Yusuf and Bazist of Africa, PHP Chief Damola Adekoya. I'm really happy about you guys trending this engagement on Twitter about DevFest Ado-Ekiti 2020. You guys are really doing amazing well. Don't worry, you guys actually are the ones that have actually looted our palliatives. So Emmanuel Yusuf, Olonilua Olalikon, yeah, Emmanuel Yusuf, Bazist of Africa, PHP Chief, Priest, and Damola Adekoya. Please just jump in on the comment section so we can get to identify you and send your gifts across to you. So very quickly, I'm going to be inviting into this session. I'm going to be inviting no other person but the one and only Slick of Africa, the one and only Slick of, well, I'm going to start the one and only Slick of Nigeria, the one and only Slick of Africa, and the rest of SSA. Slick has been doing amazingly well. I've been following his engagement on Twitter from GDD Coco and the likes. Slick is really an amazing individual. Slick is a community manager, and he'll be jumping in to take us on a swift drift into cloud and Google Cloud platform. So Slick, hi Slick, welcome, and thank you for joining us on today's session.
Thank you for having me, Pharaoh.
Yeah, hi. So very quickly, you're going to be jumping in to tell us what we start to get from this drift you're actually about to put us into for towards the Google Cloud platform. So yeah, the floor is yours for the next the next minutes. Over to you, Slick.
Thank you, Pharaoh. Okay. Hi everyone. My name is Slick, and I'm waiting for my presentation to be added to the screen. Thank you, Favor, for that amazing introduction, and that's really really amazing. Like, really funny. Like, it's a Slick of Africa. So I'm proud to be an African, definitely. So I guess we're actually going to hop into cloud. We are not hopping into Maserati today. We are only hopping into cloud. So actually prepare to get some amazing energy, and I'm really excited to be on your screen today. So we're going to be doing a swift drift into cloud, basically cloud computing, and um, definitely we're going to move into GCP, that's the Google Cloud Platform as well too. So keep doing the tweeting thing, keep doing amazing. Shout out to on Twitter, tag at GDG Ado-Ekiti, show excitement, following the normal hashtag, and do a screen grab on your phone, show the excitement, and amazing giveaways. So I think we should actually trend today. So my name is Slick Akinle. You could call me Shola too. So I'm a software engineer, and at the same time you could see in the screen, I'm a community manager, and I'm a serial techpreneur actually. So as a software engineer and an entrepreneur, as I said, that is techpreneur, so it's actually fun. So do the amazing hashtag and let's dive it. I actually have amazing topic to cover for you. I mean, amazing notes to cover for you today. But we don't have much time, so actually going to be do try as fast as enough as I can to actually make sure we do amazingly well in this section. So we're going to egg into what X is cloud, forms of cloud computing, Google Cloud Platform, and whatever it is. So you could actually drop. I'm seeing your comments. So if there's anything you're missing out or questions or anything you want to say, you could just drop it in the chat box. Then I will follow up why my section is. So amazingly, a lot of people, there's this controversy sticker. I mean, controversy word stickers everywhere that actually says there is no cloud, it's just someone else's computer. Yeah, it's actually quite wrong, guys, to tell people there is no cloud and there's cloud. So logically, if you think about it, you say, oh, there is cloud. And logically, again, if you think about it in another sense, you could say, oh, there is cloud actually. So but I have to tell you that it goes beyond there's no cloud. It's go beyond someone else's computer. It looks like that. Like, yeah, definitely. We have a data center. In the picture of what you're seeing in my screen, you see that the couple of this is one of the best amazing data centers in the world, and it's actually amazing. So this where those virtual machines and the all computing cloud computing technology has been taken up. Just like you having a computer somewhere else in another form, and you actually getting your thing started actually. So, but it's beyond just someone else's computer. I have to tell you that the cloud is somewhere in the physical location, just as you think, but it's beyond that. So what here is cloud, and how do we get there? Actually, yeah, you can amazingly when I start learning cloud, I used to feel like, oh, this cloud thing. I mean, I look up and I was like, oh, what's going on? Is it like there's a form of cloud somewhere like in the real cloud thing, and maybe there's a location, maybe all these Google guys have actually moving into cloud and mount something there. So in the real sense, when you hear about cloud, you always think about that, but it's actually amazingly know that different people can give it in different. From a student could say, oh, he heard about cloud, he could push your pictures to Google Photos, Google Drive, blah blah, Gmail, and all that. Another IT pro could tell you could deploy in the cloud, and another person will give different interpretations of cloud. So but for this time around, we're going to go through what really cloud computing is, and we're going to do amazingly different things. So on-demand computing resources delivered to you over the internet, it's just that these are computing resources delivered to you over the internet. Let me explain. I don't have much time, but I will explain what cloud is really for people that have really not understand what this means. Do you get? So just like I said, you could see at the right side of my screen, you could see, okay, maybe left side for you or right side, whatever it is. So you could see a data center as a computer located in some sort of locations, and these are called data centers. Physical computers, virtual machines, everything are being installed in that location where you have all your computing resources in it. So everything you have there is just like you having your whole operating system or something you want to, your whole storage, RAM size, computer, not with you, but you have it located in another location in this data center, and you're accessing it via where you are. So you could chip in where you see your resources. Your Google Photos is being stored in a location which you knows as cloud. Your iCloud is being stored in the location knows as cloud as well. That I mean, your for iPhone users and all that. So you could see iCloud and all that. Those are physical locations. Apple have their cloud, Amazon, Azure, all of them has their own cloud computing resources. So their computing resources located in the place being delivered to you over the internet, and you could access them and have them. So a computing device, a computing service created traditionally, actually data centers are physical things. They are not cloud as it seems. They are physical locations, that they are physical devices that are locally made and created on premise over there, and now transferred to you, performed remotely across the internet, and you could actually have a better interpretation. So cloud all around us, you could take virtual machines assistant like a Google Assistant, Siri, and all that. They're cloud computing softwares that you talk to them and they understand you, what you're saying, they deliver it to you with the internet. They're all cloud computing. Cashless payment, form of cloud computing, IoT, TensorFlows, and AIs. They're amazingly well. So one of the amazing features of cloud computing is security. So when you talk about security potential, you talk about the potential data loss, you talk about slow access to internet, you talk about legal regulation, regulatory data centers, and almost all these things are very important when you're opening your data I mean, your data is basically in the cloud, or your hosting forms and everything in the cloud. So make sure you check the security aspect of the cloud computing you're using, which is actually very important. So cloud infrastructure applications in as a life cycle. So I'm actually going to understand, explain what this how this cloud thing is being made actually. So as you see in the cloud, this cloud actually, you see that I wrote private clouds, hybrid clouds, and public cloud. So I'm going to explain this. So two exist, why one does not exist. Okay, so private cloud are amazingly cloud you created. You mean you created, just like I said, data center. You could create a mini data center in your house. You might not just say like a computer, one data center computer, so which you actually want to make it private to yourself. So you create a data center in your house, the infrastructure installed, the virtual machines, everything running, and you chipped on your data inside it. You have total control of your storage, your data. Google does not have access to it. Amazon does not have access to it. Microsoft does not have access to it. So everything you have total control. But one of the visuals of it is that it might be costly and not easy to manage. And I don't think in Nigeria we have that constant resources as a normal thing, because you don't have 24 hours light, except an organization do incur these because all the data are being locally created and they have everything stored for them. So, and it's expensive in the sense that you have to get an IT pro to actually manage it and all that. So private cloud, that's private cloud. So public cloud are clouds like Microsoft Azure, Google Cloud, Amazon, and all that. So there are Oracle and many more I couldn't mention now. So those are locations whereby you store your data in the location in Google Cloud, and you could access them over the internet. That's public cloud for you. Why hybrid cloud is a combination of private clouds and public cloud. For example, you build a software and you're hosting your web application. I mean, basically your web application in the cloud, and while you have your database to yourself in the private cloud where you created in your home or your organization. So you just want to, it's actually a best practice, but it's quite kind of expensive and complicated a bit. You need to hire a professional mind to manage it, and at the same time you have to understand a lot of things to make it function perfectly, because you're connecting both of them together. So you don't want Google to have access to your data. You just want to chip on some of your stuff so that your private cloud will not be too expensive to manage, and maybe at the same times it's you, where we don't want to, you have data safety and all that. So you could do private cloud and public cloud together, and you have hybrid cloud. Hybrid cloud doesn't exist, note that. So these are the main forms of cloud computing. Now you have to understand this. So in forms of cloud computing, you have the software as a service, you have the platform as a service, and you have the infrastructure as a service. There are a lot of others as a function as a service, window as a service, different ones actually, but they're not popular. This is still widely more accepted, and you could understand better. So software as a service examples are like you using Google Photos, Gmail, Microsoft 365, Dropbox, and etc. So if you're using this, you could actually understand what you really need to do. So we have platform as a server. So as a platform as a service, provides developers exactly what you need to get your application running on the web server. So these are things that the cloud computing have made already for them. So they just needed to make it work. So they needed to make it work and needed to get it started. So you just don't want to bother. You just want to push out your software, your web applications, and you're good to go. So that is platform as a service. So it's actually basically for developers and all that. So I'll talk about platform as a service later on, where you have things like containers and you have things like cloud computing and all that. So then we have infrastructure as a service. Infrastructure as a service. So infrastructure as a service basically are virtual machines, which you can actually install your stuffs and all that. So it's actually important for you to know that you could do this via whatever you want to do. You have a physical machines, computer virtualized in the place, running in the cloud, and it has a vCPU storage memory at the same time too. So moving on fast because of time. So platform as a service runs, it could run in a infrastructure as a service as well too. You have your servers, your storage, your RAM size being provided yourself. The developers have access to already installed web servers, database management, and they don't have any issues. So it's very easier for developers to just deploy their applications on platform as a service, and they're good to go without bothering about other things to do that Google Cloud Platform could actually do for them. So Platform as a service has a virtualized environment, development frameworks like .NET, PHP, Node.js, Python, Java, etc. So you have the database to yourself, you have security scannings constantly, speed, automation, scalability, elasticity, amazing functions that go on as a virtual machine. So virtual machines. Now I'm going to tell you that there are three key things you have to understand in cloud computing, and these are virtual machines, containers, and what? And serverless service, serverless server. So you actually going to understand that cloud computing basically in general they are actually been configured into three platforms, which is the virtual machines, the containers, and the serverless servers. So when we shift into Google Cloud, you're gonna understand what I'm trying to say. So virtual machines basically, a virtual machine is software-based instance of a physical machines where a guest operating system has access to emulated virtual machines and hardware. So you just have to have physical locations, just like in my screen, as you see the picture of the virtual machines are being installed, configured, has access to emulation machines, just like you have a computer situated in the locations that you don't know where the location is, but the location is called data centers, and you have your operating systems are being installed there, like Windows OS, Linux, whatever operating system you want installed, and your storage is being declared around 500 gigabyte on that computer, just like a virtual computer laptop, like computer system, a virtual computer system, which is actually amazing. So you have to understand that virtual machine is just another computer in somewhere in the cloud, someone else which you're not aware of. They have both the function of your computers, like the RAM size, the operating system, the storage, you define everything you wanted, the CPUs, the how fast is running, but somebody is managing it for you, and you just have to ship your software there. So when you ship your software there, they do the managing for you, they do everything constantly, and everything is amazing for you. Talking about the size, the scalability, elasticity, the speed, and it's actually amazing for you. So Abalode is to host virtual machines and virtual guests via the host, and they are the host, and you are the users trying to access your virtual machine. So virtual machines just makes you just to use for web development. You can just install a web server, a database management, a system, a web framework, source control, security scannings, and etc. So you could actually check this out. So virtualization, as I said, running on an OS is running a computer operating system. Some operating systems that applications are loaded in the guest and in VM version visions. You could see that you could run on my Mac OS like Linux or and so Windows operating system, CentOS and Core OS basically. So virtualization provides scalability, as I said earlier, on elastic compute, scalability in the sense that when your software is being crowded with a lot of people, you could scale up the size. So just like recently, I've forgotten this software that they signed Davido and what's the name of this financial software in Ghana, and when they before that they knew that they were actually running on a 10 gigabyte space, so they moved to 20. They created space for people to come in to register, but yet it didn't meet up. So when it gets to 20, assuming the app elasticity comment, it's supposed to scale up itself without you bothering. So though you'll be charged for what you use, then at the same time when the system is not being used, it will scale down. Yeah, so it's actually very amazing. You don't need to bother. If you're on just normal web server, it's going to crash instantly when you have too much people, and your share hosting could not, and then your software will crash instantly. So it's actually very amazing what cloud computing, if you do scalability, elasticity computing, resource sharing, pooling, but loading balance, talking about the loading balance in the speed regulation and portability and cloning. You could actually clone your stuffs, and you could talk about the privileges again is another massive, amazing important of Microsoft, and high availability is always available. Most times, 99.8%. Like something have 0.1 downtown, some does not even have downtown at all. So the another version of cloud computing is container. So I talked about you knowing that cloud computing generally is focused on three areas: virtual machines, container, and serverless server, which you are going to go. So this container, now we heard about Docker machines, like the Docker people that runs cloud machine. It's it's a popular open source software in to run cloud containers. And GKE, that is Google Cloud Kubernetes, which you actually may not be aware of, but you are hearing of it now. So a container is an operating system level virtualization, where the OS kernel, it actually provide an isolated spaces to run specific applications. What does that mean? So basically, I would say is a way in you orchestrating your code in a container. So you orchestrate your code in a container rather than you orchestrate your code in an operating system. Do you understand? Virtual machines, you have to install operating system, but in containers, you practically have a virtualized container replacing the operating system level. So it's faster, it runs faster than the normal virtual machines, which I talked about earlier on. So it's orchestrate your code in a container and it's faster. And one of the popular open source you use is Docker. Docker runs in a single node, while Kubernetes runs across clusters. So that's the only major difference between Docker and Kubernetes. Docker is popularly used, and Kubernetes for Google is popularly used as well too. So containers, fully self-contained computers inside a virtual machine. So a self-contained computers that is being situated inside a virtual machine. So it's actually important that you have to know that this thing is basically what you have to use and get your things done. So another thing you have to use fully self-contained and have less overhead startup time. Basically, I told you run faster, more known around excitement around Docker and all that. So at the same time, they are huge part of cloud computing. You have to aware that. So serverless, that's the third one. So execution mode is actually very important for you to know what you want to do, and you can actually get to run this. So server does not mean it does not exist at the same time. It does not mean it does not exist, but it's actually really, really important that you have to understand that there's a server somewhere and it's actually faster. So it basically means your code runs in functions. So according to the functions you write as a software developer, your code runs according to that. Do you understand? So basically, you have to understand how serverless works, and you have stuff like Netflix using this. Local server over 7 billion users, video hours to 50 million customers across the country. So Netflix is fast life function. So you could see the functions of serverless for servers, which makes it more amazing to actually do. Dynamically manage the allocation of machines. Single node proper functions, deploy code, and all that. So they are huge part of cloud computing, and it's actually amazing. I'm going to explain that later when I get to Google Cloud Platform. So the big amazing Google Cloud Platform. So the Google Cloud amazing cloud platform, infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, and software as a service. I told you guys. So I'm running out of time. I have like about 10 minutes. I'm going to run through this. Sorry. So so that I could actually be fast. So we have Google Cloud Platform, and this is basically it. It's an open source software providers, developers, partners. You have developer, you have partners, other third-party software being installed. And Google uses cloud computing as well, like Google Maps, Chrome, Google Analytics, Google Search. The Google Search engine, when you're using Google Search, Gmail, JSOT, you're actually interacting with cloud already. So, and that is software as a service. That's a SaaS, which I first talked about. So these are different regions of where Kotlin and all that. So and IaaS, infrastructure as a service, is actually very important for something you could actually use and all that. So API interfaces. So there are 4 ways to interact with Google Cloud Platform. We have the Google Cloud Platform console, we have the Cloud Shell and Cloud SDK, we have the REST API, and we have the Cloud Mobile. So whichever one you want to use, Google Cloud Platform, you could actually access it through the console, normal GUI, while you could access it via the Cloud Shell and Cloud SDK. So and also we can download from the App Store or iOS or Android app stores and all that. So these are examples of how to run this. So I'm actually going to be fast because of time. So it's global, it's automating, security is amazing. Most people prefer GCP because it's amazing functions security wise. So I told you dive in straight into GCP. You could talk about compute engine, Kubernetes, app engine, and cloud functions. So those are the 4 categories of Google Cloud platforms. So in these categories, you talk about virtual machines. Compute engines falls under virtual machines. Don't forget, I told you 3 major cloud computing forms: virtual machines, containers, and serverless. So you can see the 3 now. Under Google Cloud Platform, all the 4 categories of Google, they fall under a functions, which have virtual machines fall under compute engine, that is infrastructure as a service. Containers falls under Kubernetes, that is Google GKE, that is Google Kubernetes. and it's under IaaS and platform as a service. Some people said it's as container as a service, CaaS, SaaS. So in another form, we have the serverless, which is the app engine and the cloud portion, cloud functions in Google, which is function as a service and platform as a service. So I've explained how Compute Engine works. Compute Engine works the same way as virtual machine works, and you have total control of all your stuffs. You could control your storage, your devices, your everything while you are using this. And you could do a lot of things where you are using Compute Engine. Compute Engine, remember, Compute Engine is on the virtual machines. So in virtual machines now, which is Google's Compute Engine, you declare what? You declare whatever you want to use. We're talking about the storage, the RAM size. You want to be the one to be in total control of your stuff. That's why you're using Google Compute Engine to actually do your computing in cloud computing. Why in Kubernetes? Google Kubernetes runs in you orchestrate your code in a container environment managed by Google. Everything is managed by Google. You don't need to bother about the storage management, the RAM size, everything. Google will give you elasticity scaling up and all that. Everything will manage by Kubernetes, and you orchestrate your code in a container across the cluster. Why in App Engine is a PaaS solution, GCP fully managed platforms. That's the first platform Google started with. App Engine for years. It has a lot of amazing functions. It's highly recommended when you want to start with Google Cloud Platform. It's amazing because it's actually what Google has spent a lot of time improving over time, and that's what they started from. So it's actually cloud. No worrying about your infrastructure. Just tune your code into the cloud without worrying about installation. Then all the provisions of and resources are being managed for you. So we have cloud functions. Cloud functions, which I talked to, that falls under serverless. Don't forget, cloud functions falls under serverless. Completely serverless execution environment or function as a service. You actually run your code according to the functions. You could just write this function. Your other code, some of your code can be in normal share hosting platforms, and you just start to want to run your code, your few of your functions that needed to be fast or saved or scale, or when it's not used, you shouldn't be charged. Then you want to be on the cloud, so you could write that function on the cloud and to only be called or be charged or be used whenever it's being run in the cloud. So it executes your code in response to event according to the number of time. So the number of time the function is being used is when you'll be charged for it. It's completely serverless and it's amazing. Serverless doesn't mean it doesn't exist. It exists. So comparing cloud computing and VMs, this life cycle of virtual machines, provisionings, and all that, computing resources and functions, and networking. It has networking based. It has compute functions. That's virtual machines. This is storage devices. You have the SSD and localized and the standard SSD. You could dive into it later on, changing VM states, and you have the VM machine. So you could SSH means you're actually trying to run into cloud in commands and all that. The Windows is RDP when you want to install Windows in cloud. PowerShell terminal requires it, and you have a secure settings. You have to have a password in doing the settings. So some code lab section will be shared to you after the sections which you can follow on how to install your Windows in the cloud. So the Google Kubernetes is a container orchestrator. It needs container runtime, and it's faster than the virtual machines that's Compute Engine because it doesn't have an operating system. It loads its code in a container. So Antus enables you to run it Kubernetes clusters anywhere in both cloud and in premises as well too. So Kubernetes leverages simplicity on cloud as a service when it's used on the cloud. So it utilizes flexibility of infrastructure as a service, and it enables your portability and simplify your scaling perfectly. So serverless function does not mean no server. It still uses server, I told you guys, but this is process of running code without caring or thinking about the server. So the ability for you to scale up and scale down while doing this automatically without you being care of what me as a software developer, what I'm doing. I just run my code on a server and I'm only charged when my code is being called. So this serverless component can also be known as a function as a service. So App Engine and serverless are really, really similar to each other, and it's really, really amazing. So cloud computing, you could have storage devices like Cloud SQL, Cloud Spanner, BigQuery. All of them has their purpose of when it's being used. So I'm writing a medium, an article on this, so you can understand deeply when to use different cloud storage when you're actually running cloud. Due to time, about 2 minutes left, I guess. So choosing the among cloud classes and all that. So you could actually see multi-regions, regional, lane line, and code lines. I have articles coming on this, which you could take your time doing around cloud, playing around cloud actually. So to the future, you see a lot of people talking about AI, and AI runs basically on cloud computing, and it's amazing. It makes everything wonderful. New technology keeps coming, like Antos, clusters, and amazing technology coming in around the cloud. You could actually take your time to check it out. It's an amazing platform, especially Google Cloud Platform is amazing. You can't afford not to actually use Google Cloud Platform and do a lot of things around it. So you could actually give Quick Lab is another amazing platform where you could actually, that's the platform where you run your Google Cloud platform, Quick Labs. So in your Quick Labs, that's the platform where Google Cloud platform is being run. You could see the platform how it's made, the GUI. I told you can access it or interact with Google Cloud platform via Quick Labs in 4 different ways: mobile app, the cloud shell, and the Google console as well too. That's the GUI part and the API as well too. So additionally, reading, you could actually do Google Cloud Platform, cloud.google.com, read around it. So that my personal, where places I release my articles, freshers.com/cloud. You could check out articles I've run on cloud computing and all that. Then Quick Labs is another platform to run your Google Code Lab, to run your stuffs. So get in touch. I'd love to hear about you, your thoughts. Give it a shout out to me up into my DM. So if you couldn't see me drive by, then you can up into my DM virtually in the cloud and give him a shout out, ask me questions, or reach out to me, whatever you're going through. You could send me a mail at slick@meetslick.com, or you could check me out. So on all social media, Instagram, LinkedIn, every platform, you could see me there. And you could check me out on GitHub at /slickboss. GitHub, my username is slickboss on GitHub. So be inspired. Imagination is more important than knowledge. You could imagine what you want to do, then you can put it into practice. Thank you very much, and thanks for having me. I hope you had a great time. Cheers.
Yeah. Hi, everyone. Thank you so much, Sleek, for that amazing session. Sleek has been an amazing and remarkable individual. I told you Sleek is coming with the fire, and Sleek actually poured down lots of it on us about the swift drift into Google Cloud Platform. Sleek, thank you so much. You can actually drop in your questions in the comment section, or you actually follow up by asking Sleek a question on any of the social media pages. Right up, we're going to be getting one of our speakers. We're actually coming to the closing part of this session, so we're going to be getting one of our speakers to join in the session. And I think everybody knows him to be the highly celebrated, remarkable individual from the Google Developers Group, Ado-Ekiti. His name is Ajibulu Femi. Femi has been very remarkable. He was the one that did that avatar generator for the Google Developers, the GD 2019 festival. He did the avatar generator, and Femi has been remarkable. Femi is going to be joining us. Femi is going to be joining us very, very, very shortly, and he's going to be taking us on a very remarkable topic that we've actually been waiting for. So Femi, I'm waiting for your video to come up so we can switch to you. Okay, yeah, Femi is up right now. Hi, Femi. Good to have you on this session. Hi, Femi.
Hi, Philo. Can you hear me?
Okay, great, absolutely. So Femi, I've been blowing Femi's trumpet. So I said Femi was actually the initiator of the Avatar app that was made for DevFest 2019, and it actually blew the minds of people across all regions in the world, and he was actually celebrated, I think, last month, on the GDD platform. So Femi, I'll be giving you this next minute to actually serve us hot with what you have in stock. Over to you, Femi.
Thank you very much, Favor. I want to actually appreciate all the previous speakers also that have come to join us to celebrate their first once again. So like David said earlier, last year was very fantastic. And if not for the pandemic, we would have loved to have another physical Dev First event. But here we are. So quickly, I'm going to share my screen. So today I'm talking about Google AdMob. So um, so give me a second while I share my screen. Okay, good. So today I'll be talking about app monetization using Google AdMob. So okay, good. Okay, so this talk is directed towards developers, guys and ladies that are already building something, or that have interest in building app very soon. So there are lots of ways that developers can make money using, from their applications. So I'll be sharing some steps on how to go about it and to introduce this to some people. So app monetization by Google. So what is app monetization? So app monetization simply means the action or process of any revenue from an asset or business. So in this case, the asset or business is your mobile application. So there are various ways that you can earn some revenue from your applications. So so the first way is using paid apps. So when you want to publish your app to the stores, to the Google Play Store, Apple Store, Amazon, the rest, you have options of making it a paid app or free. So if it's paid, then you can get rid of ads. You can as well have in-app purchases. IEP stands for in-app purchases. So IEP, I'm going to give, my next slide will contain more information about IEP and ads. But these are the basic three ways that you can earn some money, earn some revenue from your applications. So now, as you can see clearly from my screen here, the first one is the paid app. So when you browse through the app on the store, you're going to see it straight away. The price of the app is going to be there. So like this app on the screen now, Universal is in a nutshell, is about $1,000. So the IAP, that screenshot is taken from Truecaller. So Truecaller is a free application, free to download application. So many people use it, but they have a premium version. So if you click on the button there, you're going to connect to Google Wallet payments to make an in-app purchase. So the next one, which this presentation is focused on, is the ads. So the third one is also from Truecaller, from my Truecaller. So you can see the yellow rectangle there is circling an LTE advertisement. So that's actually an advertisement showing inside the app, because currently I do not have the premium version available. So these are the basic ways by which developers can monetize their applications and make some money. So I've been using AdMob for a while now, maybe over 5 years or 6 years, and I've played with some different advertising platforms for mobile and even desktop applications, including from Google, from Facebook, from Microsoft, and all that. So it's a very very important part of my journey, because there was a time that I had an application that had about 100,000 users. So it makes all the sense to include ads there just to make extra money as a student. So AdMob is very popular. It is also important in the Google Ads ecosystem. It helps developers to grow their businesses than asking for donations. So what you see popularly for among free apps is that developers ask for donation. They ask for Bitcoin, they ask for whatever kind of donation. But if you just put an ad there, perhaps some of the users will like to pay. So how popular is AdMob? AdMob is used by 81% of the Android top 1,000 apps. So the Google Play Store has a ratings for the top apps. So the top 1,000 apps, 81% of them use AdMob. So this is a big deal. So that means we have, so that shows also that we have over 1 million apps in the App Store using AdMob. So over 1 million businesses and individuals are making money from this thing. So I've spoken with a lot of local developers. When I local, I mean Nigerian developers, and they have no idea that this is actually worth it. They have no idea that you can actually make money from the app. So a lot of people know about AdSense, but they've not actually ventured into the AdMob. So AdSense powers the web, while the AdMob powers the mobile environment. So how can you get started with AdMob? So the first thing to do, I assume that you have an existing app. The first thing to do is to create a space in your application. So I'm going to talk more about spaces where your ads should be in. The second thing is to show the highest performing ads to your users. Then third thing is to get paid. Definitely, you're going to get paid. So this requires some sign up anyway on the Adobe console. You configure your ad units, channels, and types. So ad unit is basically like a single ad entity that you can add. So for example, if your app has an home page, you can create an ad unit for the home page, specifically for the home page. So format of AdMob ads. So you must have seen ads somewhere when you're using your different applications. So there are four popular formats, if not all. So we have banner, extra, native, and rewarded. So this banner ad is the most common. So it's usually rectangular in shape. It's at the top, middle, or the bottom of the screen. And sometimes it goes alongside with the content of the app. So for example, if an app has a list, then the banner ad can join in. Then Interesta is usually full screen advert. So sometimes you open some games, you just see full screen advertisements. So that's basically Interesta. Then native, this native is customizable. So you can, for example, when you build up and you target multiple device screens like tablets, phones, and even Android apps can run on computer. So this native falls in place. Then this rewarded. So this rewarded is very, very good. It has a nice weight. For example, in games, sometimes the games will tell you that okay, watch this video and we give you 20 points. So that's a kind of a rewarded app. So the user has to sit down and watch the video maybe for 30 seconds so to get that reward. So there's a lot of Google policies, Google Play services, Google Play game services that controls how all these things work. So if you're going to get started with this, you're going to get familiar with how it works. It's a very, very interesting um, feature to add to your existing applications. So performance and reporting. So there are different tools that you can use to measure your performance, the performance of your application. So because your performance has to be very linear, it has to be correlating with the amount of users you have, the amount of downloads you have, the amount of uninstalls you have, and other things like that. So um, Firebase is always there, which revolves around the entire Google ecosystem. You have Firebase there to help analyze how your app is performing. Then you have the admin console telemetry. So this telemetry gives you impressions, views, and you say how your app is showing, which of your ad units is showing. Are people spending more time in the home page or a particular page? So these are some of the things that you can use to measure your performance and reporting. Also, you can use this to change how your app is to improve it. Then revenue monitoring. Yes, I like to watch the figures. So when you start making revenue from the AdMob, the tools there also that helps you to monitor the growth of your application, the growth of your revenue, how much money is for collection, and the rest. So getting started, somebody asks that to get started. It's very simple. Visit this URL to get started on Google AdMob. If you have any question, you can reach me on my Twitter. And some of you have my mobile number. You can also reach me from my mobile number. So this is going to be the end of my session. It's just because our time is fast spent now. So here's my Twitter. You can check out some of my codes on GitHub. I have a lot of codes there that many of you can benefit from. So thank you very much, David, Favor, Suzanne, Mrs. And Slick, and all our past speakers. Thank you very much for joining us today. So thank you very much. Over to you, Favor.
Yeah, thank you so much, Femi. This is also an amazing session. I actually have learned something about monetizing. Yeah, basically, monetization is actually one thing developers should also be looking into, apart from just building and churning out into the market. Yes, as much as we have to also contribute to open source projects, we should also learn to build side projects and also monetize it. At least it keeps us going. And me, I also love to watch the numbers, just as you have said. It's really amazing. And I think what interests me about it is the fact that I can actually get to customize my ads. I think you talk about that in rewardable ads or thereabouts. I can get to
Yes.
customize my ads for probably a video game that I'm currently working on, where my end users can actually get some sort of credits for watching an advert. I think that is something that keeps them engaged, and on my application if I'm to build one. So thank you so much, Femi. You can connect with Femi on Twitter. I don't know if you showed your handles. You can
Yes.
connect with Femi on Twitter, Oloron Femi Ajibulu. You can connect with him. He's actually very much like on standby to respond to you. Femi has been very remarkable. I'm going to blow your trumpet again. He was the one that was featured on GDD platform for a remarkable young individual that actually set up the DevFest avatar for last year, and it was still used this year. It's really great for developers to get their hands into something to make sure that everyone has something to make use of out of their work. So yeah, thank you, Femi, for that. And over to the next. Over to the next one. We're actually at the end of this session, right? There would have been another session that would have come in, right? But so I don't know. I don't know how we are all faring during this time. I know it's been a very hard one for every one of us, right? In this season, and I hope we're actually keeping very safe. As much as we are keeping very safe, it's also be very much important for every one of us to get our hands on a project, to build something. I know some of us have actually hundreds of bookmarks we've actually put on our PC, or some of us actually have project ideas that we've been working on in the past how many months? I don't know. This is December, and we haven't actually churned out something. This will just be some sort of advice for every one of us that is actually building, like that actually have ideas. Let us transform all our ideas from just the idea generation stage to the conceptualization stage, and probably moving on to getting to build a project that we can actually show people. I think that is what it's not enough to say, okay, yeah, I'm part of a community, but we don't have any project to show, or you say you love Google technologies and you don't have something to show that, okay, this is something I did on the cloud, or this is something I did on the mobile and also on the web. So as much as we are learning, as much as we are organizing community meetups for every one of us to join in and learn something, it will also be great for me to crave indulgence to build something, and show, let the world see. Recently, we recorded someone from our community that also got a grant from the state government for actually building a project. I think that was Delivery Now or thereabout. So as much as we are learning all of these tools, it's also pertinent for us to understand that we should also get our hands busy building things, building projects. You never can tell where that project is going to take you to. You never can tell the next opportunity that project is going to make for you. So yeah, we've announced our winners for today. I'm going to let me see who is also making waves on on our social media platform. For those of us that have questions, I'm trying to see how we can wrap everything up before 7 p.m. Nigerian time. If we don't get attend to some of your questions, you can actually reach out to the speakers that jumped on the sessions today. We've actually posted their handles on our platform on Twitter, so you can reach out to them directly. They'll be very much available to give responses to it. So yeah, J Swill, I forgot to actually call you out. Also, you are doing very well. I'm seeing your trends on Twitter. J Swill, I forgot to call you out here. Who else is there? I called J Swill. I called Emmanuel Yusuf. I called Bassist of Africa. I called PHP Chief. I called Damola Adekoya and Olaliko Olonilua. I don't know. I don't know if I pronounce that well. Forgive me. So yeah, those of you that have called your name, so please just send a message, a direct message to us on Twitter, and then we'll get your gifts across to you. Noniola and Caesarify. I don't know your full name. Yeah, you are the winner for our tax that was given on the community platform. So you guys also have a special gift from us. I don't think we have a warehouse full of palliatives to give out. So yeah, next up, I'm going to be giving this time to for the closing remark. The closing remark is going to crown up this session today, and I'm really sure you guys have learned something. I don't know. Drop in the chat if you've learned something today. If you also want to have more of this coming, drop in the chat. Drop in the chat. Drop in the chat. Yeah. So for the closing remark, I'm going to be calling on David Oluwabusayo. That's the lead for this community, and David will be giving a closing remark to crown this up. Yes, over to you, David.
All right. Thank you all for your time. Thank you, Favor. I seriously, with actually wish the thing could have still be going because we have like 3 or 4 sections that we have to scrap because of our time. Because we know it takes a whole lot of data consumption to be online for a period of 3 hours. And for those that we started together and they are still here with us now, I seriously appreciate you all. You are so much wonderful. And if you have learned something today, please don't just learn it alone. Put them into practice, put them into action. From the first session from Damilola, how to be a good content creation. It's very good if you are a web developer, if you are app developer, if you are a software engineer. But if you don't know how to create a good content to sell your product or what you do out there, it might not really go far as expected. And the same thing goes to Karen Barker that talks about integrating Google Assistant for continuous integration. At least we all personally had a lot of experience using Google Assistant. Even sometimes when I'm busy, I make use of Google Assistant to probably send an urgent message to someone on my contact, probably dial a number and put it in a loudspeaker. I can't remember the number of times I will be in the sun. Like I always, my phone screen will have been dark completely, so I have to use Google Assistant to tell Google, "Hello Google, let me increase the my phone brightness so that I can see the screen." So integrating all those Google Assistant into our project really goes a long way as well. Then thanks so much to Damilola for the session. Thanks to Karen. Then Karen Similola, at least like lately now we appreciate and we see that a lot of women are now thriving in technology. Yeah, a lot of women are now. At least we have a lot of them. That at least thank you for your wonderful session, Simi Sola, and to Sidik Pamela that talk about Andre Jetpack Compose. I really grab a whole lot from that section because it's part of what I do as well. It's really an awesome moment with you. Thank you so much. And to our boss, DJ Slick. Thank you so much for your session. At least I think I've laid my hands on a a Kubernetes engine, doing some code lab stuff like that. And I really enjoyed it. Like the Kubernetes, I can actually use it to really compress all your files so that it won't be too heavy when you are sending it out there for people to see, and it still remains the quality still balance and still remains there. So thank you so much for your session about swift drift into cloud and Google Cloud Platform that is building for the next billion user. And the last session was so amazing. Everybody, anything you are doing, if it's not making money, sometimes it's not making sense. So if you are a web developer, if you are an app developer, a software engineer, definitely there should be a way to make money from all those projects because it costs us a whole lot of nights, a whole lot of time to build those things. So definitely there should be a way of making money from it. So thank you so much, Alon Femi, for your session for the app monetization. That is Google Ad Mob. Thank you so much for your time. And all of you, if you have learned one or two things, please don't just go and keep them somewhere and make use of them. And in any time, if you run into a challenge or you encounter a situation, don't hesitate to reach out to any of the community member. If you are on our WhatsApp group, you can drop a message there. Definitely, there will be an instant solution if you are there. So, and at the same time, if you have any question that is not available here, maybe later when you are now going through the session, you can reach out to the speakers directly. Their Twitter handle is actually on our page at GDG Ado-Ekiti. You can reach out to them directly, and I'm very sure they will listen and explain whatever it is that you needed for them. So right now, we had an intention of ending the whole event by 7 p.m. and on my clock here is exactly 7 p.m. So thank you so much for your time. I can't be mentioned names one after the other, but I so much appreciate you. The DSC EXO, DSC Foyer, DSC Footer, GDG Ado-Ekiti community, GDG Akoko, and wherever community you might come from to grace our Dev Fest. So much appreciate you. And this will be the end of our event for the year. But hopefully, we hope for 2021 to have a physical meet of them. You know, it won't be online. I know we've missed a whole lot of time meeting together, doing a lot of stuff together. So we hope for 2021 to be better. So much we are keeping our hope alive towards that. So I appreciate you on the GDG Ado-Ekiti organizing team member, Suzanne, Favor, Moses, Femi. Thank you so much for your commitment, for your energy putting together. And to everyone, I wish you Merry Christmas and Happy New Year in advance. From me, bye for now. So over to you, Favor.
Thank you so much, David, for that closing session. And for this, we have come to the end of the Google's Developers Group, the DevFest Festival for Ado-Ekiti 2020. And this is what we're going to use to wrap the year up. And the coming year, we're going to be doing amazing things together. We're going to be building together. We're going to be holding all the budding developers by the hand to actually find their way and space into the into the tech ecosystem, right? And a closing part from my end, I forgot to actually give you this information again. I talked about the FSI hackathon. They will be giving out palliatives also. Yeah, right. So I'm sorry for using that word, but they'll be giving out items such as a MacBook, an LG curved TV, smart monitor, sorry, and a HiNet bundle for internet access. So just jump onto our page. You're going to see a tweet about the FSI hackathon and register and join in to leverage on the financial technology APIs to building new products against 2021. So from my end, this is the end of the show. And thank you for joining us. So for those of you that I called out the names, we're going to be posting the names on Twitter also. And when you get to see your name, you just send us a DM, and then we'll actually communicate how you're going to get your presents, your gift items. Actually, Santa Claus came early, right? So this is the end of the show, and thank you so much. I remain Favor Chukwedo. You can follow me on Twitter and I'll be glad to follow you back. Bye for now.